Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's live stream. We are doing 10th episode of India Money Live, and at the same time, we are also celebrating 80th Independence Day. So, wishing everyone a nice, happy Independence Day. And we just crossed 10th episode. It's something which went really quick, I believe. And just to introduce my co-host, Dhanesh, on the other side from Mumbai, joining us.
Hi Sumit, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, and we are on 10th episode now.
Yes, so India is 80 years old. IML is 10 episodes old now.
Yeah, so we are entering the double digits, and let's see how it goes. I think at the moment the response from the viewers and audience, everyone who is following us across the channels is just insane. This is beyond expectation, honestly, for us, and we will continue to do this along with stories we keep on pushing, right? And just allow me few
I
minutes
think
while
we got,
people will be joining us. We will be just sharing it across our socials. So just allow
yes,
a few minutes.
we got, I think, lovely response and happy Independence Day to everyone. Hopefully, we have record viewership today because it's a holiday and no cricket match this time.
Yeah, we are. I think India is playing Test cricket. Nobody is watching Test cricket, but yeah, we clocked in peak T20 games. We clocked good views when peak T20 games were going on in England. I think that's when we started. So yeah, and what are the stories we have today? Mostly Indians, I believe.
Yes. And I think one very, very unique story, I think, which is probably my favorite, which we'll cover at the end. And something I don't think anyone must have ever thought in their lifetime that this happens, especially in like when you're in from India, you never think of any of this.
Right, right. So yeah, all right. So let's start the show. I think we got 15 viewers already. The show has been shared across socials. Yeah, so we are wishing you a happy Independence Day. India is celebrating 80th Independence Day today, and from the country has come from 250 rupee GDP per capita in 1947, and at the moment we are standing close to 2 lakh 60 or thousand GDP per capita in 2026. That's somewhere close to 96,000% growth rate in
Yes.
GDP per capita for India. Insane, considering obviously if we consider India, as a team, it is like huge team. Like we have so many diverse people, right? So much diversity in every single thing. Honestly, 140 crore people of like so many languages, right? Different type of states, different persona, and all. Still, we are packaged together as a strong team, and we are celebrating 80th Independence Day today.
Yeah. And I think to understand how big we have become, like since we started in 1947, I have like four key criterias that I had been tracking, especially for today. Where first is actually the literacy rate. It
Mhm.
is now upwards of 80% from 12%, which is a 6.5x growth, which is like a big, big win. Second is actually universities, because India is known as the brain power of the world, right?
Mhm.
And we have crossed over 1250 universities, which is up 50x from 1947, where we had just 25 universities. And the third key thing is power capacity. So we know, right? India and power has been not a very good relations in the start, but we have crossed 550 gigawatt of power capacity, which is 400 times of what it was there during independence. And the last but not the least, the most important is actually exports. We have grown from $15 billion to 800 plus $1 billion, which is 65x growth. So yeah, just to put some numbers behind the 80 years of growth that we have had.
Exceptional. Exceptional in one thing. I think there used to be a story that India used to have a fairly large GDP GDP. You can say percentage of the world. Like we used to contribute a lot before actually Britisher came in and just looted the entire country, right? And then we are again starting. And at the moment, I think we are sixth largest economy in the world, probably fifth or
Yeah.
sixth, right? Yeah. So let's see how this things plays out. But there is a saying that at the moment, world is bearish on India. Even Indians are bearish on India. You may have seen such commentary from our side also in finance side, right? But India as a country, like country has done so many faced so many challenges as a country, and India took all challenges head on and did something against the odd multiple times. So just want to highlight something. So from 1947 to 1951, it was really a poor country. Okay, like there used to be a food shortage and all. Then in 1947, we had this, Kashmir thing was going on, right? That was major issue for us. Then in 1960, we had this green revolution, right? So things again moving against the odds, right? In 1970, the Amul you see, right? It started from white revolution, which is Operation Flood, right? And now India is the world largest milk producer. In 1974, we did our first nuclear test when USA was challenging us, threatening us, right? And we did it in just 27 years, like after getting independence, just with 27-year gap. Then in 1980, we had Aryabhatta, India's first satellite. And then we faced a major issue in 1990 when we were running out of our forex reserve, right? Then that liberalization came in. So that was you can say India opened its market uh, for the global companies, right? So again, against the odds, because we were under British rule, right? East India Company just came in, and that's how they captured the entire country. And now we are doing same thing again. But we took this head on, and it is working in our favor, right? 1998, we did our Pokhran 2, the nuclear bomb test and all. 1999, our defense forces got this Kargil challenge, actually. They recaptured the territory again. Then we saw the growth of IT and pharma, right? India is the pharmacy of the world, IT services. Then we moved on to some bigger challenges for a country which got a GDP per capita in a very development stage, or you can say still a poor country. We managed to push Chandrayaan, then on the Mars also via Mangalyaan, and we were also laying down the foundations of certain things which we are witnessing right now. The whole NPCI thing, the payment infra, the UPI, those things were planned in that decade. At the moment, UPI is I think it's world largest payment network probably. Then we have highest, you can say, highest number of internet user, cheapest internet in the world. So yeah, you can see so many things which where we were pushed against the wall and things were looking again against the odds. But India somehow managed to pull such miracle out of nowhere, and it keeps on disappointing those pessimists. That's the specialty of the country.
Yeah, and I think we are known to rise against all odds, right? Always, be it
Yeah.
any sport, or we always have that underdog story. So I think that's something I think which puts the fire in the belly of Indians.
I mean, especially if you see the amount of potential we got, in terms of cheapest internet, most, you can say, highest percentage, or you can say highest number of internet users with access to cheap internet. Look at the potential you can, do things from here on if the world is moving towards digital pace. So potential is always there. It's about just getting uh, getting along together as a team and then performing well. That's the entire point we are figuring out. At the moment, things are looking bearish. You can see any angle. Nobody is writing anything positive about India as a country or Indian markets. You can say anything, right? But there is a saying: we disappoint both people, optimist and pessimist, right? And if you are too bullish on India, India will disappoint you. If you are really bearish on India, India will again disappoint you. So that could be the story which plays out from here on as a country.
I think we have a habit, right? Whenever we want to feel good, we compare to Pakistan. Whenever we want to feel a bit low, we compare to China. I think that sums up the story.
Yeah, hopefully we will be having neck to neck with China, where we will be when we want to feel, you can say, happy. We will be comparing with China, and not just
Yeah,
Pakistan will not be a huge deal for us. Like we don't want to compare with someone having some round of kind of numbers, right? In terms of anything, and it is partially true now. It doesn't make any sense to just compare with Pakistan on any front at the moment. I think their air
true,
force is probably on the similar level. Apart from that, I don't see anything.
true. Same here. I think we should put our own touch now, where we'll be discussing finance version of Independence Day. And to begin, like if you just compare from one Independence Day to the next, Nifty 50 has actually fallen 1.1%. And along with that, gold in rupees is up 55% almost, while silver is up 108%. So in the year where India is celebrating another year of freedom, our grandmom and parents have outperformed our entire stock market with their jewelry.
Right. So it's like in Indian family, you can say the male counterparts are just not happy because those guys are holding equity or some LIC policies. The female counterparts are really happy. They are just holding gold and silver, right? So
Yeah.
that been the story. And silver is up 107% from last Independence Day to this Independence Day. But I can assure you, whoever bought silver on last Independence Day on 15 August 2025 is certainly not happy for sure. Because if we had done this show maybe 6 months ago, this number would have been around probably 300%, I think.
Yeah.
So when you fall so much, you are definitely not happy, even you are up 100% up.
Yeah, we have that price anchoring bias, right? That 4 lakh पे मेरे को इतने gain से तो I want to sell it at that much profit. But now we are at 50% drawdowns in silver. So yeah, I think the headline index actually, if you see, which is Nifty 50, is actually lying about the full year that has happened. Because if you look past it, the market is actually up. Like Nifty next 50 is up 12%, mid cap 150 is up almost 12%, small cap is up 10%. So it actually wasn't a very bad year for Indian equities. It was a terrible year for the top 50, because when you compare the markets abroad also and the USD INR situation that happened, so the top 50 actually had a very bad year.
And the thing is, like on market perspective, market has been really selective. And Nifty, again, just to explain how Nifty is constructed, 60% weight in top 10 stocks. And when those top 10 stocks does not perform, obviously Nifty will not be able to hit new highs. And that's been the story which is playing out in India at the moment. Because the indices you are seeing on the screen, Nifty mid cap 150 or Nifty small cap, these indices are trading at new highs actually. So if you're just judging the markets from Nifty price and all, you will be very much disappointed, honestly. And the prime reason behind this disappointment has been these heavyweights: Reliance, HDFC Bank, TCS, Infosys. We have mentioned this so many times. Yeah, but that's the story. These guys are holding 25% weight in Nifty. If 25 to 30% of Nifty is dead, you will not be seeing Nifty hitting new highs when India will be celebrating 80th birthday, right? That's been the story right now.
Yeah. So we have the top gainers and losers actually here, where from Nifty, where you can see the favorites are the big losers, which is ITC, HDFC Bank, HDFC Life, and Wipro. I think most people who track Nifty 50 also usually own these three stocks, right? Three, four stocks. And they all are like down 25% plus. While the companies which you expect to be, cyclical and, higher risk, like Hindalco, Bajaj Auto, Eicher Motors, are the ones who are performing the best.
And that's the case. Even you see, we were talking about how 25% of Nifty is dead. It's just not dead. It's dragging Nifty down. It's just these small weightage player, likes of Titan, Shriram Finance, the newest entrant in Nifty actually. These guys are actually holding up the gains on the Nifty side. Uh, You can clearly see one of the famous name which was making a lot of headlines. Geo Financial Services also delivered negative 24% return. And the favorite stock of dividend boys, ITC. So many values, so much value in this stock. This can happen if they divest if they demerge this business, hotel business, this business, Mars business, space business. I don't know. But at the moment, ITC is 32% down. Okay, you can have fun with your dividend, that's fine, but your investment is down 32%. And this, I think, if you see which blue chip has actually delivered return, it's the Titan, which is the expensive stock, which people buy in their coffee can portfolios, kind of thing. कि safe है, ठीक है, इसमें पैसे लगाओ, Tata की company. So it's a
and
Titan.
I think it's more of a consumption theme, right? If you see what's playing out, autos, consumption, like any kind of expenditure, like direct to consumer, that has been outperforming. Like if you see, even our sector winners and losers out of the sectoral indices are the stuff that actually felt the safest is the stuff that hurt, right? IT, FMCG were always known to be the safe bets, and metals, PSU banks, autos were the cyclical and unsafe, high risk bets, and it turned out to play exactly the opposite.
True. Especially, I think FMCG. I think the last time I saw something great from FMCG was in COVID times, honestly. HUL hitting new highs when things were going downhill. HUL was trading somewhere close to 2,700. Everyone was like, this will be the new leader of bull market. But the story is, HUL is still probably trading around 2,700 only. I haven't even checked the price of this stock for a few months now. But I can assure you it will be close to 2,700 only. So 6 years of negative returns. I think one theme is also playing out in India's consumption basket, you can say. There are a lot of new D2C brands which are coming up. And, these HULs and Godrej, those kind of people used to sell their soaps and bunch of other things, so many items, right? Shampoos and all, I don't know. I think we are developing a lot of new companies to cater this audience, which is now available on these 10 minutes delivery apps, Amazon, or you can say little premium version, which is offering you choice. It's just not like if you want to use toothpaste, the option will be Colgate. That's not the case in India anymore, right? If you want to use shampoo, the option will always be Clinic Plus kind of brand. So a lot of new categories are opening up. I think that is which is hurting FMCG, because FMCG was the kind of story which was sold to everyone that India about 140 crore people, so many people are young and everybody will be getting job, and these things will keep on, the consumption will never stop. That story is probably translating on the other side, where some small brands, or you can say private companies, are catching up to hurt these companies. And it is visible also in their strategy. These companies are acquiring those small companies.
So they were lacking that volume and sales growth. So their way of doing it is via inorganic growth, right? Where they do mergers and acquisitions of these high growing companies, like Minimalist was an example. You see a lot of other companies or fast growing companies being acquired by these giants, where Maricos of the world, HULs of the world are getting the sales growth via this inorganic source of acquisitions. And it's their way of playing the current D2C trends.
Right. And IT is, I think, pretty much explainable. IT was even the dumbest investor, if he is sitting outside India and he was looking how to play AI, almost everybody got it right that we need to short these IT companies in India. They got rewarded handsomely, actually, in last few months. I think it's just this month we are, I think in July, IT index was up 15 or 20% up. But before that, it was disaster. And disaster of such level, I can tell you, I think Infosys highs was close to 2000. People were like, Infosys is now at 1700. This is the time to buy. 2 weeks later, Infosys is now at 1500. Then another bullish guy jumps up. This is the time to buy. Infosys is down 25%. And this kept on happening, and Infosys was actually trading at 990 levels, 3-digit levels, which we probably saw, I think, in COVID or something, those days. But right now we are rebounding on that side. And this media thing is, I think, anyways, it does not represent a lot of things. It's just, I think Z is there in media index and some
it's pretty
small
much
companies,
Z.
small companies. So I think when we had this FIFA World Cup, I think Z was popping up, except that media is just shifting to shows like India Money Live. That's the bet we have, right? Yeah.
So we can quickly, I think, go through some big winners and losers of a bigger universe of NSE 500 this year. I think everyone has heard of Ather Energy this year. The biggest turnaround story I think you can possibly hear, against, I think, odds where the industry was dominated by someone else and it captured a lot of market share. And again, these are against mid cap names where usually people are invested in them via mutual funds only, most of the people. And they have outperformed like these are like some US kind of returns.
True. And the good thing about Ether Energy, or you can say, I think they did IPO last year only, probably. It's
Yes.
a young company. I think somewhere close to 300 levels. Ether Energy was doing this IPO. And I had really high hopes from this company that I will be making a lot of money on listing day or something. I think it listed at just 1% gain or something.
Yes,
And from
1%
300
growth.
levels, we have seen this company hitting somewhere close to 1500 levels in probably 15 odd months. And right now, last week I was reading somewhere that these guys are receiving so many orders that they cannot keep up with the demand at the moment from their production facilities and all. So Ether was, you can say in hindsight, if you have to pick one of the multi-bagger out of these 5 companies, Ether was something which a person with just a normal sense, normal IQ would be able to pick it up, but we missed it, honestly. We have traded this.
I am holding something in Ether still, but yeah. Ether, I think was again a consumption play, right? Like we discussed earlier, where two-wheeler electric vehicles is some segment that was having insane tailwinds for Ether, and they probably took a lot of market share from Ola and their entire system, the ecosystem that was being built and operating leverage kicking in because of software and all helped Ether a lot. So yeah, they've been executing really well, and let's see how it goes.
Right. I think Ola Electric was the leader of this entire segment earlier. But
Yeah.
at the moment, that's not the case. I think if you just look at the losers, you will spot some KPIT tech kind of names, just one other IT name. I think one of the biggest disappointment in this loser section is MapmyIndia. Like,
Yeah.
I used to believe this company gonna do well. It was kind of being sold as domestic map story in India. Have you seen that confusion or meme in India when we have to take flyovers or underpass? Google Maps used to confuse us. It's usually whenever we are given choice while we are traveling. I have seen cars stopping there, then zooming onto their Google Maps whether we need to take this flyover or we need to go via underpass. Map My India got some feature on their maps which was solving this, and their story was pretty strong. That India, such huge country, they should have their own maps and all, and just not rely on Google Maps. But I don't know, some valuation issue or whatever, but MapmyIndia is down 44% in the last 1 year. One of the biggest disappointment, and I have no real hopes from Reliance Power anyways. It's just keep on bouncing. It's just like mood swings of mood swing kind of stock. Sometime it's pretty happy, 2 weeks later it's pretty sad. So overall, it's pretty sad story.
Yeah.
And we
I
got
think
two questions. Let's take them on, I think. So we got a question how we can identify sector movement or theme before public got to know or before it start moving up. How can we identify a stock before breakout? So you can take this on.
I think to identify sector movement before public gets to know is, again, if you know in depth about the sector and you can understand the key triggers that are going to come, then it's okay. Otherwise, you can follow what Sumit and we do, right? We wait for the sector to prove itself. For example, we could have probably waited for Ather to be up 100% and then we capture the rest of the 160%. So we let it prove itself, and then, when good results also follow, I think it's an easy indicator to hold and understand which sectors are doing well. And I think it's pretty much you can just, in fact, just scan the list of stocks hitting 52-week highs. That's the easiest way to understand which sector is doing well.
Yeah, we got one more question, which is holding KPIT Tech. Is it worth it or should we book the losses? Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can
I've
take
never
this
held
on.
a stock down, which is 50%, but I think you cannot give direct recommendations. But yeah, I mean, if
I
it's
think it,
troubling your sleep at night, you should sell it.
yeah. So I think lot of people make this mistake that they are investing in some stock. It is down 50 odd percent, and now they cannot decide because sometimes it will feel like if you are selling here and stock may have those rebound tendency, and it will bounce 25 odd percent, and you will feel like you have sold it bottom. Uh, I again different way to look at. Some people like buying these falling stocks. We are not those kind of people, honestly. So you really need to figure out when you are buying what sort of tactics you had, like what sort of plan you had. Else, at the moment, if somebody genius will tell you, just hold it, it may bounce. I mean, the odds are again, it may go down also, right? So market is more of a thing where you need to minimize your regret. So if you sell here and it stock bounce 20%, your regret will be too much. So it's really hard to take decision at this point. Honestly, we cannot give any such recommendation. But one advice: always have a plan when you are buying something, which helps you in the future.
Yeah. Anything that ruins your sleep should be avoided.
Yeah. All right. I think further just one thing I want to add on. People are complaining India is not generating returns. So in NSE 500, 15 companies delivered more than 100% return in this entire window of 15 August 2025 to 15 August 2026. So we had 15 companies which made more gains than 100%. All right, let's move on to the next segment. And that is, yeah, just want to explain this. It's about you, it's about us, it's about everyone, it's about the people you see, in your friend circle, college, university, offices, everywhere everyone is just betting on India's growth story, right? And it's clearly visible in this data. You can see we had 4 crore Demat accounts 6 years ago. Right now we have 22 crore Demat accounts, and in 2006 we had just 50 lakh Demat accounts. So we were growing at a very slow pace. Even that was respectable. But look at the boom in last 6 years. Usually it happens the other way, right? You have that base effect. Thing is like, it is easy from 10 to 100, which is a 10x growth. If you do it in a respectable manner, people will still appreciate you for this 10x growth. But imagine something popping up from 200 to 2000 in shorter span. That's exceptional.
And I think this and Dream 11 accounts would have been in line, right? Going up exponentially, like must be like similar type of growth, 40x kind of, where these, I think we got a, kind of an addiction thing in our country. I think it's not only our country, I think across the world, where because of access on your phone, everyone is waiting for that kind of dopamine hit or rush that it's become part of our routine now.
Yeah, and you are right about this internet thing. The influence of people posting things that I became rich by investing. I became rich by this trading thing. It gives people a choice that if they have done this, I can also quit my job, or just grow my wealth 10x, 20x in just few months, few weeks, right? And that's the trend entire world is chasing. I think people have realized, or you can say people are not able to fulfill their dreams or pay their bills with their salaries. You can say housing is pretty expensive, and our wish list has expanded due to exposure of Instagram. I'm able to see someone having their breakfast at pool, which is a very stupid concept, honestly, but it is one of the most expensive breakfasts you will be having, right? And your 9 to 5 job cannot pay for that. So these things, the rise of crypto, the rise of option trading, even number of investors, poly market, betting on some random events, Dream 11s, fantasy sports betting, fantasy apps, those kind of things. So these are just the outcome of this thinking, which we are carrying in our brain due to this social media, and obviously due to this economy where salary cannot fulfill your dreams anymore.
Yeah, I
That
think
that
people are understanding that, their wish list or dreams, like something like a basic house or even rent, cannot be fulfilled by the salary. So they're like, might as well we bet it and get some kind of exponential growth. Maybe one day I hit the jackpot and, maybe I'll be rewarded. Because anyway, if I live normally like this, the reward will never be there.
Yeah, because I can explain you how worse things are. I can tell you, look, Mumbai is the city, the financial capital of India, right? And Dhanesh works at a nice company at the moment, and he is certainly in top 5% earner in Mumbai. And he will not be able to buy a house. I mean, it takes 109 years of saving for top 5% earners. 109 years
I
to
keep
buy
making
a
the
house.
joke with my dad also that I don't think I can afford the bathroom of my room right now with all my money.
Yeah, so
So that's very
obviously
expensive.
obviously you will see him trying things in the markets, or something beyond one source of income or those kind of things, and it makes sense. I mean, that's how you take that 80-20 route. 80% of your time or money should be in safe game and 20% in high risk bet. There is nothing wrong in it, honestly.
True. And I think that's going to be the new normal everywhere.
Right. Okay, we are crossing 140 viewers. uh, that's a nice number to have in the first 30 odd minutes. Thank you very much for joining the
Thank you,
stream tonight.
guys. And we have another question. Any source you will suggest to get in depth knowledge about sector rotation? Any thoughts on that, Sumit?
I think you can DM us, honestly. We will be able to guide you on that side better in this thing.
Yeah. So I think going to our next topic. And last week we discussed, who pays for UPI, and there was a lot of chatter regarding payments and charges of UPI. And this week we are going to be talking about who is actually behind this entire theme. And we discussed about D2C, how it's a huge trend in India. I think another big trend in India has been fintech businesses, where
Mhm.
you can see new age and fintech businesses not only being coming with the IPOs and listing on the stock exchange, but becoming a crucial part of our day-to-day life, right? How many of us now can stay without a Zomato or a Nika or a Paytm? And sometimes you don't even know, but without a CDSL in a way, because these are the depositories and all that are working in the back end. And they have become a crucial part of, I think, every Gen Z at least. I don't think anyone I know who can live without these apps. And again, the internet has done wonders for our country.
Truly. And these internet businesses relies on a brilliant layer which is built by the government, actually. We need to appreciate them on this front. Like, I want to tell you about how India actually built this digital infra. So this eKYC thing, we see
Hmm.
this, right? You are able to verify your identity with some OTP. That's insane, for 140 crore people. Then we built UPI, which is success story, right? Everyone is able to pay even 2 rupee, 5 rupee kind of payment from you can say buying vegetables in the market or just your making payment to your friend or those kind of things. The newest addition to this is this Rupee network, where we are now issuing credit cards on this network, right? This Rupee network we are talking about. Then we have DigiLocker. You are able to see so many documents of your entire, you can say, life, where it contains 10th class mark sheet, date of birth certificate, driving licenses, PAN card, those kind of things. Everything stored at one place. And then there was this recent thing, which was this ONDC. So it didn't
Yeah.
really get the push at the moment, but let's see what happens with this. And one thing which is work in progress at the moment, and that is this CBDC currency, which is just a digital central bank money. Uh, we will see the impact of these things, but across these seven things, we have been impacted by 5 to 6 things in a very positive manner for sure, which has actually shaped the, you can say, direction of the entire country. Even these businesses you are seeing on your screen, most of them wouldn't have been possible without these layers, honestly. Uh,
True.
ima- imagine, uh, imagine your, you can say, a person using Zomato app, and everybody is being told, you will be able to make digital payments via cards only. And then UPI comes in. Like, it's pretty easy. We will send you a auto pay kind of a thing. Just send your UPI, put your UPI ID. You will be able to buy groceries and all, food and all, right? So
Yeah.
so many things. I think Paytm was one of the oldest company actually. I think it's working in this internet businesses, trying things from 90s. I think late 90s. It's that
But
old.
I think we all talk about fintech and these new age businesses, right? And the beauty of it, I think, truly is that most people do not understand these businesses and end up using the old valuation metrics, the old way of thinking to, avoid or put these companies down, especially companies like Zomato, Nika, where there is always a lot of negative sentiment around these companies, because at the face of it they're always reporting some kind of losses, right? Because it's more like a long term game for them, where they will hit profitability probably never, or maybe after 5 to 10 years. And something like a basic thing, like what actually is a fintech company, or what is fintech, right? Is it just a mobile app with a nice UI, or what it is? I think we have an expert, like I would call him an expert, who has been covering this space of fintech and new age businesses. And we will be discussing in depth with him about how he has understood the businesses, and what are the ways to evaluate them, and the things that are happening in the entire ecosystem. So we would like to invite our guest, Man.
Uh, Hi Danish bhai, hi Sumit bhai. Happy Independence Day, happy 80th Independence Day to you.
Hi
Uh,
man, how are you doing? Happy Independence Day.
all good, all good. First of all, not an expert. I'll just be sharing my views. It would be a pleasure basically sharing my views and what I have been accumulating over last 1.5 years, specifically for the internet businesses. And just before going ahead, I'll like to say that there may be some stock names that will be taking, and me and my family and my relatives of whom the money I handle would have significantly allocation to those particular names, including Paytm or Pine Labs, all right. Just this is a discussion, not a business recommendation or not an investment recommendation, and yeah, we can proceed.
So to introduce Man, actually I came across his Twitter profile, where he has been breaking down Paytm, Pine Labs, and other businesses, which I think most people end up getting wrong in a way, where they are evaluating on just headline numbers of losses, and the noise that is there. And his breakdowns are actually what caught my eye. So firstly, I would recommend anyone on X to follow him for such more breakdowns. And yeah, I think it's a pleasure to have you here, because I really am really excited to learn from you more today.
Perfect, perfect. So, Danish bhai, we can begin, right? It's fine.
Yes, so I think we can begin with the first question where we were just discussing to explain to a normal person. Like, I think most people get confused. What is fintech, right? Is it just a
Right.
mobile app with a nice UI, or
So, just to give you, see, this is one thing that I think most of us are also confused about a lot, right? Fintech is nothing but your whole financial product. Basically, it's embedded into the technology, right? And first, by that logic, first fintech would have been Citibank, which had introduced debit cards. First fintech could have been Amex. Going back to even Citibank, right? So I don't know if you guys know, but Amex was a logistics company. Then it started some travelers check kind of a business where it started to earn float, and
oh,
it became a financial service company, right? And that's something that is basically embedding whole technology aspect to your whole financial product. So it's not about having UPI, it's not about having the app, or it's not about having the accessibility to basically make payments anywhere at this point in time, and labeling it fintech, but it is just enabling financial services or financial products to be either sold or either to be used through the mode of technology. And probably as we are speaking right now, as we say that now अभी सिटी बैंक का जो डेबिट कार्ड का जो पूरा का पूरा उनका रेवोल्यूशन था, it's now old, it's not fintech. Probably UPI में भी ऐसे ही होएगा. 10, 15, 20 years down the line would be like, yo, UPI it's not fintech, it's something new, right? So yeah, I think that should suffice.
Right. It's like so you are saying financial institution or the logic is still same. People are just using this interface to scale their things,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
this keeps on evolving because I think when credit card must have been introduced earlier, it must have felt like magic. It's not
Exactly.
some internet or those kind of thing, but you have this small thing and you can just get money. I remember in my school, people used to ask us like, what is the full form of ATM? And I still don't know what's the full form of it, but I think some teller machine or something. People used to say anytime money or those kind of thing. It's a magic thing, right? You just
Yeah.
insert a card and you just get the money out. So you are telling that fintech is now just another, you can say, level of this entire
it's
magical thing. The backend thing is
it's
still
another
similar.
layer. It's
Yeah,
another layer to your accessibility of the financial products or financial services that you would anyway be consuming, right? आज हम लोग अगर बाहर जा रहे हैं, मतलब पेमेंट करने जा रहे हैं, या फिर आईपीओ का पैसा मतलब मैंडेट क्रिएट करने जा रहे हैं, it's anyway would be creating it through ASBA mode or anyway, right? So it is just another layer which adds to your accessibility to make it more easy. So yeah, I think that should be sort of a lenient definition.
right?
fair
But
enough.
I think you covered Amex and City, right? So
Yeah.
in the West, I think how much I had read, this entire payment system is quite profitable, and
Yeah.
their ecosystem might be working differently then. So what is the difference between the West payment system, the ecosystem, and in India?
Yeah, so actually the West payment ecosystem, the digital payment ecosystem right now. So if we
Yes.
move away from credit cards and debit cards and other mode of payment, the wallet ecosystem actually started with PayPal. So people also started giving access to send money through emails. There was some sort of frauds that were happening, and then they introduced the concept of wallet altogether, right? At that point in time, and if I remember very correctly, I think 6 or 7 years down the line when people was incorporated, I think Paytm was incorporated. So this was probably in 2000s, late 2000 something, right? So just so even at this point in time, I think PayPal just got profitable post 2020 or something. One thing that allows them to be profitable is again, so this is like a toll road kind of a business, right? मैं आपको पैसा भेजूं या फिर मैं सुमित भाई को पैसा भेजूं, Paytm would be acting as a toll gate that would allow
Yes.
my bank's money to get transferred to your bank's money, and they would be charging money for it. So this was well, this is what merchant discount rate is, but this was due to I think demon, and there were multiple aspects to it. It was through NPCI circular, it was actually prohibited. and hence multiple companies in India were giving the services as a toll road, but they were prohibited to charge for it. It's like saying मैंने ये टी शर्ट बनाया, मैं सबको फ्री में दे रहा हूँ, just because government is saying लोगों को टी शर्ट की जरूरत है. So yeah, I think that was one of the reason. If I remember very correctly, there were multiple TPAP, that is third party payments app, and we were using, I think there was something like FamPay. There were multiple small wallet apps, right? Those guys didn't
MobiQuick.
survive this because
MobiQuick used to be a wallet,
yeah,
and
yeah, right. Those guys didn't survive this very well because again, matlab, those guys had one aspect of monetizing it, and they were not able to monetize the whole transaction. It was like free में service then, and there would be data center cost. There would be I think payment processing charges का cost, multiple things, and government was just giving I think 10% of the total cost as subsidy to them. Just to cover the payment processing charges. So that was actually brutal for the industry, and hence most of the players, if you see, I think the whole market got consolidated. Top two or top three are accounting for, if I'm not wrong, more than 80-90% of the
Yeah.
UPI's merchant, I think payment market share. Yeah.
Hmm. Right. And as you were talking about how we have evolved from those days, so many players, like I had this experience actually. I think 10 years ago, I used to buy those Yippee noodles. Those guys used to have that scratch code. You will be getting 20 odd rupees in your Paytm wallet or something. And then I realized then for withdrawal, I need some pen card or those kind of things. So many restrictions. Then I came across actually MobiQuick those days. MobiQuick used to offer you a service that we get it, you don't have any card or those kind of things to transfer money into your wallet, and you want to be on a digital platform, or you want to have this digital payment set up for yourself. Those guys used to send a person at your home, like if you have cash, give it to him and give it in your wallet. This used to be a thing 10 years ago in Gurgaon. Actually, I have used that. So
Damn.
that was the kind of thing those guys were doing to put Indians on digital infra, you can say, digital payment infra.
Oh, new info. Yeah, I didn't know that. Fantastic. Interesting.
So I think you are like you just mentioned, right? Government was giving subsidies and it was pretty much a free thing. I just wanted your opinion. Like we basically built the world's largest real-time payment system and we made it free. So
Yep.
was it a visionary move or was it like a foolish move in a way, according to you?
So I think there were multiple aspects to it, right? So when we talk about the penetration of credit card and debit card, I think it was pretty low. In 2010, 2012, 13. But I think Jandan Bank ka Yojana, everything started, and hence the bank penetration began. Then the whole digital rail is basically endowed upon the fact that सबके पास internet का accessibility है. That also came to, I think, all of the Indians post 2016-17, post the Jio ka penetration started to happen,
2017,
right?
yeah.
2017, right? So it was supposed to be either again the demon got kicked in, so anyways the payment was supposed to either move into the digital infra through credit card or debit card, or either it was supposed to move to TPAP, that is third party payment app. So I think it had been without the government subsidy, it would go it anyways the digital penetration was supposed to happen. But what led to sort of multifold rise in the penetration is that for example आज मेरे को च्युइंगम लेने जाना है एंड आई एम गोइंग आउटसाइड एंड जो आई थिंक दिल्ली में बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं जो ऐसे साइकिल पे बेचते हैं, राइट? एंड मैं उधर जाके उनको बोलता हूँ दैट आई वांट टू हैव च्युइंगम, मैं उनको मेरा डेबिट कार्ड नहीं दे सकता. एंड अ वेरी फन और इंटरेस्टिंग एक्सपीरियंस दैट आई हैव हैड स्पेसिफिकली इन मुंबई इज दैट वो काली पीली टैक्सी चलाने वाले अभी साउंड बॉक्स लगने रखे हैं, मतलब पेटीएम का साउंड बॉक्स. एंड द सेम इज विद ये इलेक्ट्रिक रिक्शा जो दिल्ली के सर्विस रोड पे चलाते हैं, दे आल्सो स्टार्टेड टू कीप द साउंड बॉक्सेस. मतलब they would not have kept in any way I think आपका credit card या debit card. The accessibility of sound boxes and the subsidized infrastructure that government gave possibly led to this kind of a flywheel where okay, मैं तो पेमेंट करने के लिए थ्रू डिजिटल मोड रेडी हूँ, लेकिन सामने वाला लेने के लिए भी रेडी होना चाहिए ना. मतलब ही विल नॉट बी स्पेंडिंग क्लोज टू 7,500 rupees that Pine Lab is charging for whole POS machine. They'll be probably okay giving 50 rupees or 100 rupees for the sound box. So yep, that is how I feel that okay. So it probably it's not basically a huge deal for us because anyways we are going to move. But for adoption at a merchant stage, yeah, it has been sort of a beneficial ki subsidize kar diya pura ka pura adoption to accept this.
Right.
Yeah, and onboarding is also easy for customer also
Yeah,
to be on this digital infra and for the merchant also. But just
yeah.
have one question. Like we saw that rise of wallets, in 2016 or those days. Do you believe wallets will be making comeback, or it's game over for them at the moment?
So I have been I have tried wallets. Frankly, I've been using Paytm, but Paytm के पास wallet नहीं है due to the reason that we all know, right? So I've tried Amazon Pay, but the issue with wallets is that at that point in time, it does not allow you to basically, मतलब, at least for me, right? So if I'm not using some sort of money for my personal expenditure, I don't want to park it somewhere else, and I'm like, okay, it gives me some sort of accessibility. मेरे को at least बैंक पे 4% ब्याज तो मिल रहा है, मतलब that is how Gujarati mindset works, right? So
Hmm.
what I think that wallet had been introduced was that wallet was sort of a pre UPI kind of a scenario. And the why did people actually went on to the wallet, or what we say abhi Apple Pay bhi aa raha है, right? It is sort of a wallet where you can basically charge your credit card up and you can make the payment. But when you have the accessibility that at any given point in time आपके बैंक अकाउंट से पैसा कट सकता है, मतलब I think wallet as a use case it's good, but I am not finding a very good benefit out of it at a very decent scale until and unless I'm like, okay, I want to spend 1,000 rupees a day and I'm just parking that 1,000 rupees and I'm recharging the same. So probably yes, but yes, it acts as a significant source of income for almost all of the companies who have wallet as sort of a float income, because at the end of the day that gets parked into their own balance sheet as a contingent liability or as a deferred revenue consideration, right? So they are a huge amount of float income. So I think it is good for the companies, but I'm not sure any incremental benefit actually stands out for wallet.
Yeah, seems like I think we have read this story multiple times over this Starbucks.
Yeah,
So many people say Starbucks is not a coffee company, it's a bank because people recharge their Starbucks wallet or those kind of things. Seems like the same story here, but again, wallet is a kind of a locked currency. So for
yeah.
consumer, it doesn't really add too much value. Like I also
I
have that Amazon Pay kind of a thing, but the thing
Yeah.
is, I don't really transfer money into it. It's just a cashback which keeps on getting accumulated. So
True, true. I think we'll come back to the Starbucks story when we jump onto Pine Lab, right? So I think that would be a really good divergence to the story. I think that would be really helpful.
Sure.
fine.
So recently there was a lot of news, right, regarding MDR charges on UPI.
Yeah,
So I have like two questions regarding that. Where firstly, I would like you to explain what is MDR to our audience. Second is, in January, I think 2020, they said zero MDR is a law now. So what impact did it have on the entire industry and the business model? So these are the two
right.
questions I have.
So actually, what is MDR, right? So, आज अगर most of us would have gone to say mall outlet to do shopping for us, right? So आज दिवाली अभी आ रही है, we are going to a mall outlet. We were doing shopping, and say for example, the bill comes to 10,000 rupees, and you say that I have HDFC Bank ka debit card, or I have ICICI Bank ka credit card, whatever it is, and you go and you say that I want to pay through this. So what happens through the whole transaction is that you are the your bank is basically the acquirer bank. Your bank is the acquirer bank. There is NPCI ka pura switch, which is basically in between the scene. Then there is payment aggregator. Payment aggregator is something like that of Pine Labs or Paytm, जिसका POS का machine होता है, which basically helps you to bypass the whole transaction. And then there are merchant banks. Merchant banks is basically आपका Reliance Digital या फिर आप आपने जिधर से कपड़े खरीदे उनका जो बैंक होता है, right? So the whole transaction that passes through, it takes certain amount of money to run the whole transaction, right? So it's not really free. So what happens is that of the 10,000 rupees that you spend, probably 20 or 25 or 30 rupees, that is a very minimal charge, right, probably would get cut in while making the payment through UPI. And if you are making the payment through, say, credit card or debit card, the interesting amount or the interesting fact is that of those 25 or 30 rupees that government is basically trying to put on, uh, credit card or debit card would be charging you 200 or 300 rupees. So they are still subsidizing it to the extent of 90%, but it is bit, I'll say, expensive than what we are getting that is free, right? So yeah, I think this is how the whole concept of MDR should be looked at. That आप जो पेमेंट कर रहे हो एनीवेज, मतलब आप, एंड दिस इज नॉट ऑन यू, राइट? सो आई थिंक आप जैसे ही 10,000 रुपए का आप क्रेडिट कार्ड स्वाइप करोगे, सामने वाले को 9,700 या 9,800 रुपए मिलेंगे. बट नाउ यू आर मेकिंग अ पेमेंट थ्रू आपका यूपीआई ऐप, और देन सामने वाला पर्सन वुड गेट प्रोबेबली 9,980 or 9,970 as government brings out the rules. I think that would be there in the income tax का जो भी बजट अभी प्रेजेंट होएगा उसमें. And to the second question, I think there was some sort of hint that was given by the industry participant. If I'm not wrong, I think it was in Q2 or Q3 Pine Labs con call, where Amrish Rao was basically hinting to the fact that they are expecting MDR, I think, very soon, because it's unsustainable for most of the companies to operate in this manner. Uh, uh, so a very interesting fun fact is that after the introduction of UPI, credit card transactions and debit card, the total card transactions have fallen by 80% in volume. So the whole load has moved to UPI. So it has been really expensive to maintain the whole ecosystem. And I was reading the report of Investec of Bernstein. I'm not pretty sure about it, but per the quotation of that report, I think close to 20,000 crore of the infrastructure spent, including payment processing charges, is basically being spent by all of these companies, including Pine Labs, UPI, including Pine Labs, Paytm, आपका Google Pay हो गया, Phone Pay हो गया, right? And the total subsidy that is being basically released by the government, I think last year, मतलब, I think this year it's 2,000 crores. Last year it was 600 crores. So for 20,000 crores of money that is being spent, probably going outside of the wallet of VC or public market investors like us, only 600, probably 600 or max this year 2,000 crores is being subsidized by the government, and that is also on back of the payment processing charges fee. So a very, I'll say non-democratic kind of a move, where you are not allowed to charge for the services that you are making. But at the end of the day, so this is how the ecosystem or industry was working. And then Amrish Rao had given some sort of comment that, okay, so they are expecting MDR, but then I think in the budget they said that they are upping the budget of UPI subsidy from 600 to 2,000. And that was some sort of a halt that shayad MDR nahi aayega. Then I think 2-3 months ago also there was some sort of news from Money Control that then they are basically payment council is thinking of bringing MDR back. And out of nowhere the whole article was taken down by Money Control. And now we are here. I think the whole law is removed, which basically stated or basically halted these companies to or to basically charge money for MDR. The total percentage that I think would be charged by these companies would now be presented in the Income Tax Act, if I'm not sure, but yeah, I think that would be the end case.
Right.
So there is a cap on how much they can charge also.
Yep.
All right. So if this change goes through now, let's assume this will happen. Like, who will be the winner and the loser in this entire ecosystem? If we just consider this digital
Okay.
payment infra.
Okay. So it would be very difficult to actually point out winners and losers. So basically, if you say who will have a strong foothold, I'll be able to say that okay, I think Paytm would be able to have a strong foothold, because then it would be sort of a TPAP plus, matlab, that is third party payment app. It has payment interface as well as it has a payment aggregator license. So if the total pie of the whole transaction comes out to be say 0.3%, so 0.3% ka probably 30-35% would be probably going to would be going to Paytm. And if you say somebody like that of PhonePe has a vast number of transactions, right? So PhonePe would have benefit of more TPAP and less payment aggregated transactions, because it has less merchant presence, because again, PhonePe. So there's a very interesting way to look at it, because what did Paytm do post IPO? Paytm actually went on to monetize the merchant part of the ecosystem. And if I'm not sure if you guys remember, but PhonePe ka brand ambassador used to be Amitabh Bachchan ji, and that led to some sort of humongous amount of money that they spent on acquiring customers like you and me, right? But then they realized that okay, and the only way to earn money from guys like you and me was to basically sell us the financial products like loan, like insurance products, and then they realized it's very hard to convince us, right? And Paytm at that point in time was having the very strong foothold. I think multiple tens of thousands में Paytm के sales guys, I have met multiple regional sales guys as well. uh, those guys started to accumulate merchants, and merchants पे उन लोग का sound box, basically they started to give it out, right? And then they started to sell loans to them, because then it is much more efficient to sell them loans, क्योंकि बहुत छोटा पूल है ना यार, मतलब फॉर अस, मतलब फोन पे हैज मल्टीपल क्रोर्स एंड क्रोर्स, एंड उसमें से दे हैव टू फाइंड छोटे छोटे, एंड दे कैन नॉट सेंड द सेल्स पीपल टू आवर हाउस एंड से दैट buy insurance company, sorry, buy insurance products. Paytm was able to do the same, because it had multiple tens and thousands of sales employees, and hence unka payment aggregator side has been very strong, and hence they would get a decent benefit of the whole transaction in terms of the total pie. But I have doubt over both Paytm and PhonePe being a very big beneficiary. The simple reason is that I think Nirmala Sitaraman and Government of India also put out a press release saying that there would be a vast number of transactions that would remain MDR free, and the total आई थिंक टर्नओवर ऑफ द मर्चेंट, मतलब आज मैं अगर किधर इधर डीमार्ट पे जा रहा हूँ तो ऑफ कोर्स एमटीआर लगेगा, बट इफ आई एम गोइंग टू अ स्मॉल जनरल शॉप, देन द टर्नओवर ऑफ द मर्चेंट वुड आल्सो बी बेसिकली a criteria. So what I believe is that Paytm and PhonePe's transaction volumes and the total value is actually derivative of the fact that these guys are present in very small shops or very small vendors, and उनका I'm very skeptical about the fact that उनका probably 1.5 या 2 करोड़ से ज्यादा का turnover cross होता होएगा पूरे साल का, and hence MDR on that ecosystem लगेगा तो कितने merchants पे लगेगा, that is a very big question mark, right? And hence I believe a bigger beneficiary here, again I hold a very good position in Pine Labs, but I think it shall be Pine Labs, because the total merchant base of Pine Labs is Reliance Digital, it's आपका आदित्य विजन के जो शोरूम होता है, it's Zudio, it's probably आपके जो मैकडोनल्ड्स पे आप जाते हो, right? So the turnover of those guys is already a decently high, is decently high than the limit that government is right now prescribing, that is approximately 1.5 crores. And on top of it, the ticket size of the transaction is also high. It's very unlikely that मैं अपने चाय वाले के बाजू वाले चाय वाले के पास जाके मैं 2,000 रुपए का transaction करूंगा, but it's very likely that if I go to Reliance Digital, I would be spending 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, which is much likely to be more than the transaction that is prescribed by the government of India. And hence, out of the total UPI volume, I think Pine Labs, even though it's just PA, it does not have TPAP share, I think they will be able to garnish much more benefit out of it. And I think most recent sell side report also agrees to it, because they have, I think Investec and Motilal Oswal and if I'm not wrong, Bernstein has upped their estimates for Paytm close to 22% of FY29 EBITDA. And I think just Bernstein has come out with a report on Pine Lab stating that they'll be upping close to 30% or 25 or 30% of FY29 estimates that they are basically baking in or penciling in. So I think Pine Lab shall be the bigger beneficiary rather than, of course, PhonePe right now is having one of the worst time of its life because they are not getting the sufficient capital. Unka merchant pay, they went into financing side what Paytm had been doing, right? And उनका बुक्स पे कोई अभी भरोसा नहीं कर रहा बिकॉज उनके पास डीएलजी का कैपेसिटी नहीं है कि दैट दे कैन अंडरराइट द लोन. उनका आईपीओ अभी पास ऑन नहीं हो रहा है बिकॉज दे डोंट वांट दैट उनका वीसी जो है दे मार्क डाउन देयर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स. So that is going on over a period of time, and hence Paytm was sort of in sort of a capital returns or capital cycle kind of a way where your competitor is losing market share. I think Paytm has gained market share for over 8 straight quarters in a row. So I think that would come to the end. But let's see. I think Pine Lab shall also get some sort of more competitiveness क्योंकि अगर उधर भी अगर पैसा ज़्यादा मिल रहा है तो that would be also interesting to see.
So from your explanation, like what I understood is, let's assume it's a train, and you are able to charge some commission, but it will come from this first class cabin only.
Yeah,
And Paytm sells tickets to almost 50% passenger, let's assume. Pine Labs just deal with these first class guys, and now government is suddenly making a rule that you can sell food at a higher price or charge some commission, and the cap is basically those people should be having tickets more than 1,000 odd rupees,
yeah,
and now Paytm got those passengers, while Pine Labs just cater to first class passenger from ages.
exactly,
So this thing can
exactly,
play out, right? Yeah.
exactly.
All right.
So
So
we have a question from the audience as well as me, that what is the exact moat of Pine Labs and what are the major risks behind it currently, if even if this does not play out, the entire MDR
Interesting.
passing. Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
I want to
So,
add something
yeah,
here
sure.
also. Like I don't really understand the business of Pine Labs. Like you said, they are doing this tie-up with these brands where your bill will always be more than 2,000. Uh, what other things these guys are doing to make money? Like
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Because I
like
think for us,
this
I
one,
think if I give you just a general idea of what the normal public thinks, Pine Lab is one white box that we see where the policemen have it or it's at the stores. So for us, that
yeah.
is what Pine Labs is.
Got it. Got it. So there are two businesses of Pine Labs, right? Let's basically say जैसे Danish भाई ने बोला, the first business is डब्बा वाला business. That's the simplest way to put it, right? And डब्बा वाले business में whenever you basically swipe a card to give challan to police, or whenever you swipe a card to basically pay for your television or pay for your new mobile, Pine Labs would be processing the transaction. एंड एज मैंने अभी जैसे एक्सप्लेन किया कि 10,000 रुपए में से प्रोबेबली 200 या 300 रुपए कट जाएंगे, एंड दैट वुड बी बेसिकली फनल्ड टू ऑल ऑफ दिस 4-5 people, that is आपका आपकी बैंक, आपके मर्चेंट की बैंक, पेमेंट एग्रीगेटर. तो पेमेंट एग्रीगेटर इज व्हाट Pine Labs is with providing the infrastructure. तो infrastructure is something that Pine Lab provides, and जैसे ही आप उसमें बेसिकली कार्ड स्वाइप करते हो, of the total transaction, whatever it is, right? It can be 1,000 rupees, it can be 10,000 rupees. There would be certain element that would be charged across all the 4-5 vendors, and some element of it would come to payment aggregator, that would be Pine Labs. So this is the simplest way to put the first business. And second business is, आई एम नॉट श्योर एज टू कि हम लोग ने मतलब दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई ऑब्जर्व दैट अगर मेरे को जोमेटो पे बेसिकली जोमेटो या फिर जेप्टो पे, राइट, आई एम ऑर्डरिंग समथिंग एंड आई हैव नॉट गॉट सर्टेन आइटम्स, देन दे वुड बी बेसिकली रिफंडिंग द मनी. And there's also something more that if you now you can order prepaid cards of Amazon Pay on Zepto. So all of these cards actually run on Pine Labs' ecosystem. So for example, आज सुमित भाई is coming to my birthday, right, and he wants to basically gift me 2,000 rupees. What he would do is that he would go to Zepto, he would basically buy an Amazon Pay ka gift card of 2,000 rupees, he would load 2,000 rupees into it, he would get that delivered, and he would basically give this to me, right? Now I'm keeping it in my cupboard for probably a year or probably for 6 months, 8 months. उनके बैंक अकाउंट से पैसा चले गया, वो पैसा पाइन लैब्स के पास है. Now Pine Labs earns money till the point in time I am redeeming it. So this is
Okay.
where the whole concept of float actually comes to play, where Pine Lab gets access to money which it is not required to basically spend it anyway in or in any form. And in fact, अगर आज सुमित भाई वो 2,000 रुपए या 2,000 रुपए का गिफ्ट कार्ड लोड भी करते हैं, there would be certain elements that Pine Lab would be charging for loading that gift card as well, because that would be some sort of processing fee that they are taking. So it's not just that they are earning on float, they are also earning on the processing charges. So these are the two basically businesses. And this is something that we would have seen अगर आज हम लोग किसी international airline पे fly कर रहे हैं, right, and due to any unforeseen circumstances this has happened that आपका ticket probably cancel हो जाता है, and they are basically saying that book something else, we would refund you the money. So they are not refunding you. I think I've got mails which basically say that आप 1 साल में या 2 साल में 3 साल में हमारी एयरलाइंस पे कभी भी कोई सी भी फ्लाइट बुक कर सकते. तो बेसिकली दे आर ईयर मार्किंग द मनी. एंड I think Delta Airlines and there are 2-3 more airlines that Pine Labs has basically targeted with. So that money stays with Pine Labs for 2 years. That money stays with Pine Labs for a year till the point in time actually I redeem the SIM. And they earn money on it, I think, to the very extent jitna bhi basically kama sakte hai. And again, so they invest it in very safe instruments like government bonds, and of course, so again, this money is free, right? At the end of the day, whatever comes, it's sort of an add-on, because they are anyways charging you for processing the whole transaction. So I think that should be a very I think lenient explanation of the Pine Labs' business. And now I think Danesh bhai asked me what actually how do you differentiate the business of Pine Labs, right? So
Yeah.
a very interesting thing was that Pine Lab started in the whole this infrastructure as a service business, I think in 1990s, and they
Okay.
have been tied up with multiple brands like Reliance Digital to the very extent from very long time. And how does the whole ecosystem generally work is, for example, आज मैं this is something that I've seen and I've noticed it probably just because वो मेरे portfolio का बहुत बड़ा part है, and this is very recently, right? The post IPO fall that came near to 140 150, it had been a blessing for me that I could load up a very good quantity. But the one thing that I've seen is that अगर आप आज Reliance Digital में जाते हो, they would be asking you, या फिर Croma में जाते हो, विजय सेल्स में जाते हो, they would be asking you कि आपके पास कौन सा क्रेडिट कार्ड है. Once they ask you
Yeah.
कौन सा क्रेडिट कार्ड है, they would be saying that ये क्रेडिट कार्ड फ्राइडे को आना, फ्राइडे को इसके ऊपर इसके ऊपर बेसिकली आपको स्कीम मिलेगा. एंड इफ यू से दैट फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे पास HDFC का है, देन दे वुड बी सेइंग दैट प्रोबेबली मंडे को आना, या फिर इफ यू से दैट SBI का, देन दे वुड बी सेइंग वेडनेसडे को आना. So this is sort of a preloaded whole system that these guys have built, right? So what does Pine Lab do? Pine Lab is basically integrating their whole ERP system. Pine Lab is integrating their whole inventory stack. Pine Lab is integrating their dealer level stack. So अगर आपने ये भी देखा होगा कि अगर आज मैं समझो कि मैं सांता क्रूज के बाजू में जो, या फिर अंधेरी वेस्ट में मैं विजय सेल्स में जाता हूँ, एंड आई आस्क फॉर स्पेसिफिक लैपटॉप और स्पेसिफिक मोबाइल, दे वुड बी सेइंग दैट इधर नहीं है मेरे पास, लेकिन चनी रोड वाली ब्रांच पे मेरे पास कल आना. So this is the whole integration layer that Pine Lab has done, and they would be doing this on not the whole ecosystem but on whole this just POS that they have built, right? जो हम लोग पुलिस वाले के पास देखते हैं, वो सेम POS में they get this whole information. It is linked with their SAP, it is linked with their ERP, so it is sort of the full information stack. So this is one piece that is actually catering them very well, as in कि अगर आज क्रोमा या फिर विजय सेल्स को पाइन लैब से स्विच करना है, तो उनको पूरा का पूरा ERP सिस्टम किसी और के साथ इंटीग्रेट करना पड़ेगा. And if they remove the same, they'll have to halt the whole integration system with Pine Labs, because you cannot have multiple stocks that are being seen in Paytm's POS as well as Pine Labs' POS. And hence when you think about so there is a very interesting figure that almost 65 or 70% of the transaction that happens on Reliance Digital's stores through credit card or debit card happens through Pine Labs,
Okay.
and rest transaction basically gets routed through Paytm. So this is very interesting aspect as to how the integration layer is so sticky that to replace them they'll have to either halt the whole store operation for probably 10-15 days just to basically change the payment processor, and they'll, in my opinion, nobody would ever be doing the same until and unless your vendor messes up big time. So I think this is how the stickiness of the business generally comes to play in Pine Labs.
Yeah, and you were talking about that these guys are offering schemes day wise. I think they should talk with traffic police also. Like on this day, if you got challans, right, you will be getting 10% off
Right.
or those kind of things. Cool. I think I just thought it's a very young company because we keep on talking about payment things, and it seems like
Yeah.
a very newish business, but seems like it is as old as Paytm is. I think Paytm is also a very
I
old
think
company, 20-year old company, right?
no. I think Pine Labs is much older than Paytm. Pine Labs
Yeah,
is
so these guys
seven or
are in the
eight years older.
similar kind of leagues.
Yep.
First batch of internet business of India, I believe,
Yeah,
Shadi.com
yeah,
and
yeah,
those
yeah,
kind of things.
yeah.
That batch.
But actually, Pine Labs went to the monetization phase very early because they figured out that okay, they followed the US playbook where they stuck with debit card and credit card. They didn't go into UPI. UPI
Hmm.
as a payment aggregator was sort of a add-on or cherry ad for them that okay, we'll do this also. It's fine. So they went into monetization and profitability part very early, and Paytm was figuring out the whole mess that happened post IPO, and then they figured out how to monetize merchants. So I think VSS has done fantastic job. Personal fan of VSS, but yeah,
Okay. Just one more question. So what we do is just buy and sell, buy high, sell higher.
yeah,
But there is one trend we have observed in such companies. Whenever these guys get listed, so much hype everywhere. But we have witnessed this trend in most of the companies. We saw Paytm falling from 2100 to some 300 odd levels. Zomato 200, 250 odd level, I think, during listing went till 50 odd rupees, 40 odd rupees, I think. What's
yeah.
this trend like? Why this happens in the market? How do you explain this? Same is happening with Ola Electric. I think very few companies have the other trend, you can say. Even the Pine Lab story you told me
Yeah.
looks pretty bullish, but stock is still down 34 odd percent, I think, from the listing itself.
So
Like, why this trend happens in such companies?
There are two ways, right? So the first is I've worked on buy side private equity as well, so I know how does the investment gets marked in private equities portfolio, and I was actually helping some of the private equities to value their core companies when I was working in consulting. So what ends up happening is that these guys want exit, right? So they'll basically price the IPO to the very peak level that's actually possible, but what ends up happening is that okay, the market discounts the fact and brings it to the level where it is extreme pessimism. I think Howard Marks constantly says that market is nothing but the pendulum, so it goes to the extreme right, it comes to the extreme left. And very interesting thing, how can I depict that it comes to an very extreme left is uh, so I have been buying Paytm for quite a while, and I've added in the March fall as well. My last buying price was I think 991 point something rupees, and I
Okay.
remember it very well because it bought up my average quite a bit. But how does this basically act as a pendulum? So what is Paytm's market cap? So I think at this point in time, post pre this run up, right? So it would be possibly 70,000 odd crores, and if my math is right, I think they would be having close to 25,000 crores of cash on their balance sheet, probably 3 years out. They have 13,000 crores of cash on their balance sheet even right now. So it's not a very bullish thing to say that they'll be probably amassing close to 10,000 crores in cash 2 years out or 3 years out. On so you're basically for 75,000 crores of market cap, you are getting 25,000 crores of cash. And Paytm, if again, so MDR comes or does not come. So actually, MDR not coming was one of my very big thesis on Paytm, because then it would be gaining market share from PhonePe left, right, center, because PhonePe is in big trouble right now. So by that logic, Paytm without MDR would have been doing close to 4,500 crores in bottom line. So it's very difficult for me to find out a company in Indian landscape specifically above 4 or 5,000 crore. I'll say probably 10,000 crores of market cap, which goes on from doing 0 crores or probably losses to close to 4 5,000 crores in PAT. in probably a period of 3 years. It's not 5 years or 7 years or 10 years that we are talking about. It's just 3 years down the line, right? So you are buying the world's largest countries, or one of the world's largest countries is fintech at a 11 or 12 times price to earnings. So that is how market actually makes it sort of a pendulum. So I think at 2100 odd rupees, it was sort of 125,000 crores market cap. But I am not sure as to what was banker basically I think putting in the assumptions or penciling in the
No, they
assumptions.
were very much sure that those guys were leaving value on the table. That's all I know.
I am not sure about it, but anyways,
They literally
but
said it. I think CFO said
yeah,
it.
yeah, I
The
think
CFO had come and
Madhur,
said, I
Madhur.
think that's
Yeah, yeah, Madhur. Yeah, Madhur had come on the show and he said it. Of course, there would be some sort of assumptions that went into the scene, but the aggressiveness of the assumptions were would have been very high. And for 4,500 crores of bottom line that I am saying right now, the aggressiveness of the assumptions was probably it's like कि इतना तो हो ही जाएगा यार, मतलब गुजराती में अटलू तो खरीद ले से ना. So that was the sort of pendulum that actually plays out. And what actually happens as well is ki, for most of the companies, they don't want to most of the private investors, they don't want to offload everything on आपका जो क्या बोलते हैं ये IPO है, right? They don't want to do OFS. And what this ends up happening is that this creates pressure when your आपका anchor opens up. This creates pressure when your आपका lock-in opens up. And we have seen this in Pine Labs, right? Actually, Pine Labs has been sort of a unfortunate candidate where it went through inflection. So if you see FY26 was kind of an inflection for Pine Labs, where it turned from loss making to a decent level of profits. I think 111 or 112 crores in bottom line, if I'm not wrong. But the IPO selling started because the pre-IPO investors wanted exit. I think Arctic or there's some fund who has actually allocated close to 25% of their portfolio. They are selling public equities and they are allocating close to 20-25% of their portfolio to Claude, that is Anthropic. So they are basically selling public equities and putting money in Anthropic. And this actually amassed at the same time when Pine Labs is, I think, आपका पूरा का पूरा anchor opened up and lock-in opened up. So Pine Lab has been that unfortunate candidate. But even at 30-35,000 crores, I think best case estimate for me also in Pine Labs is 800-900 crores pre-MDR, 1,200 crores post-MDR. I think it was trading at 5 years, 40 times earning. It's not sustainable. But right now, probably at 15 times earnings, I think there's some value.
So I think
Fair.
we spoke about the bull case, but we know the greatest investor, right? Warren Buffett had a stake in Paytm, and he himself sold it, I think, at around 880. And he's like the greatest investor we know, and he has pretty much exited his stake in Paytm. And we should, I think, even cover the bear cases, right? What are the
Yeah.
risks behind something like a Pine Labs? Because see, if you ask Sumit, a stock has fallen 50%. He in all probability will say that it will continue falling. So
So,
Yeah.
what are the
So
yeah.
that's why
bear
I don't
cases?
understand a lot of EBITDA and these kind of things. That's why I had a straight question with you. Why this trend happens? Like, these guys are listing things at 2000 and coming. I count you the cases, right? Zomato, Paytm, bunch of other things.
Yep.
So you explained the Spine Lab case, like some fund was obviously funding Anthropic, so they needed money, those kind of things. But it's a common trend these days. I mean, I don't
But
know
see,
why it
that
happens.
is how. So that's what I said, right? So what at what valuation IPO happens? It's generally the aggressiveness of the assumption. It's too high. So for me to say that Paytm would turn profitable in 2029, sorry, Paytm is profitable right now. I'm so sorry. It's close to 700 crores in bottom line this year. They should do 1,500 or 2,000 crores in PAT this year. Paytm. So for me to put probability at 5,000 crores or 4,500 crores in bottom line to Paytm, I would say it's 70-75%. But at IPO, the aggressiveness of the assumption is too high that it's like okay, 10% probability, yeah, but this would be this big of a number. If that gets hit, it's sort of a non-linearity that kicks in, right? So same thing happened with Ather Energy. Ather Energy, I think they were. you had no time to accumulate the same, because it went through that sort of an inflection, and aggressive assumption generally plays out in that kind of scenario. And one of the very interesting or very lucky company for my portfolio in new age companies, it was Shadowfax. I Shadowfax was probably priced not to too much aggression, but I think it got discounted very fast, just because that the aggressiveness of the assumptions really played out well. I think Shadowfax did, if I'm not wrong, close to uh, uh, a very minimal bottom line, I think 2025, and they are on their way of doing close to 700 or 800 crores in bottom line 2 years out. So the aggressiveness of the assumptions really played out well, and stock re-rated close to 2x. So there would be really less stories that actually pan out in this scenario, but the stories that pan out have been doing well. And when the aggressiveness of the assumptions actually boils down to a level where you start to make sense out of the things that okay यार ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा ही सोच लिया था, this is something that is actually possible, then the whole pendulum is already shifted. Then you possibly something like Pine Labs, right? At 15, 60,000 crores, you are buying one of the largest merchant side fintech. It's I'm not sure as to how to put the value to it.
यार मेरे को सीधा सीधा बताओ इसका रिस्क क्या है,
हाँ,
मतलब इसका
right,
बेयर
right.
केस क्या है
So,
if it doesn't
so
work
one
out.
thing, right. Danish, one thing actually I wanted to say, it's not, if I'm not wrong, it's not Warren Buffett who sold the stake, but Warren Buffett actually has two or three guys. I think there's one Todd, then there's one, I'm not
Yeah,
sure, Ted or
yes.
something, right? So they run their own book, and Paytm was in their own book. So it's not Warren Buffett, and Todd and Ted were actually running their own US fintech books, and that they have been quite successful. They were actually holding Apple before, again Apple, that Warren Buffett bought, right? So it's a different thing altogether. And for coming to the risks, right? So I think you can actually pass on the Substack link that Pine Labs ka jo hai. You will find a very interesting article as to how Pine Labs also has sort of an working capital hole in their own business, right? Where फॉर एग्जाम्पल आज सुमित भाई, आज आप चाहते हो किसी भी बेसिकली कंपनी या रिलायंस डिजिटल या फिर विजय विजय सेल्स या क्रोमा के पास, एंड यू से दैट ओके मुझे ये कार्ड से पेमेंट करना है, you get 4,000 rupees cashback or 5,000 rupees cashback, right? This 4 and 5,000 rupees of cashback is actually funded by Pine Labs, which Pine Labs gets the money back from somebody like that of Sony or from somebody like that of Samsung, right? So they have a very big business model gap that they are basically trying to uh, get out of through recourse funding. I think that is a very interesting thing if they will be able to do it. And secondly, I was actually a very close fund manager friend of mine, right? And when I had started to pitch him Pine Labs, and he was like, इसमें भी fintech, मतलब again, see, this is like fintech में regulatory errors या फिर regulatory risk होना is as simple as pharma में USFDA risk होना. मतलब probably कल उठ के आरबीआई का, मतलब आरबीआई can possibly put out a circular which has nothing to do with business, and you would see 10% markdown in the stock. That happened in Paytm का ये अभी जो I think it was 2 or 3
multiple
months
times,
ago.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
has
some
happened multiple
license
times,
and
right?
bunch of other things. So yeah.
Right. So it continues. So this is like USFD approval आना. USFD approval आके भी बाद में आपके observations आना. Observation पे stock गिरता है. Observation पे this things materializes, right? So again, Paytm पे the risk still prevails that Paytm has multiple subsidiaries. एक में TPAP license है, and दूसरे में उसका basically license था वो Paytm Payments Bank का license था. Now Paytm Payment Services में if they, I'm hoping that PA license के पीछे ना आए वो, but if that comes, then Paytm's business is gone. They have no way of amortizing the same or making money out of it. So regulatory risk is one of the very interesting risk, and the third risk that I feel that should play out is that capital cycle, right? Capital cycle generally plays out where you make good set of money, uh, people start to come in, when where you basically have no way of making any sort of money. That's what happened when UPI got introduced. People start to exit and consolidation played out. And one very big risk in Pine Labs is that Pine Labs has created sort of its monopoly or some sort of basically the network at the merchant level. That can get impacted if Paytm figures out, and I'm sure VSS is actually one of the most fantastic entrepreneurs out there, and he has called out multiple competitors over the call, over the earnings call itself. So I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out. But I think the competition is yet to come in all of these spaces if MDR comes in. So it's not going to be sort of an easy ride, specifically for the payment aggregator players, because then it would be a lots and lots of money on the table that would be up for grabs. And I think that could be a very big risk for multiple players across the contribution margin that would probably get hampered.
Interesting. I think again it's the government who supported the build-up and is the one who will probably stop the build-up through
Exactly.
their
Yeah, I
entire
mean,
decisions.
banks, financial institution are just the weapons of central bank at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RBI prints the money. It's just they cannot give our salary, so they give debt to the banks. Bank give
Yeah.
loans to the businessman. Businessmen then make money. Then it gives the salary to us, right? So that's
Yeah.
the entire cycle. They control the entire. Yeah, RBI is actually a US FDA for fintechs and all.
Exactly.
Any upcoming IPOs from this space coming up from startups and at the moment?
I think Razorpay would be a very interesting thing, because again, Razorpay is sort of a payment gateway that again Pine Labs has. But the I think I was shocked at what valuations they are commanding, close to $5 billion. Again, I'm yet to check the numbers, because again they've not yet reported the DRHP, the puri information, and they've not yet let out DRHP. But I think that would be interesting to see if Razorpay at any point in time answers the same basically fate as something like that of Pine Labs or Paytm or Zomato. I would be very interested to basically look out for that kind of opportunity. And phone pay, I think phone pay was in the discussion to raise money at close to 1.5 lakh crore market cap. And that really stunned me, because phone pay has no way of monetizing right now. Okay, after MDR they would have almost similar way of monetizing as to Paytm, because Paytm has good PA, good merchant side market share, and they would be getting some sort of fees from that particular side as well. But at 1.5 lakh crores market cap, they are yet to prove them profitable on merchant products like that of merchant loans, like that of KBNPL loans, like that of consumer loans, other wide suite of products. And Paytm has some sort of Paytm money. It has 13 14,000 crores of cash on balance sheet, and Paytm is trading at 75,000 crores market cap. So 2x, I'm not very sure. I'm pretty sure if PhonePe comes out, then it would amongst the same fate. Razorpay, I'm not very sure. But yeah, so these are the two IPOs that I would be looking out
I
for.
have one very non-finance kind of question. I think,
Yeah,
like, how do these guys price IPO? I mean, these are the intelligent guy, right? Let's assume you are telling me that bankers actually tell companies this is the price we should be quoting in the markets. This should be the fair
maybe.
value, or how does it happen? Or do these
Yeah, yeah,
guys already take some consensus, some feedback from the people? Like,
exactly.
if we will
Exactly.
be putting this price, will you be investing to these mutual fund
So
guys? This happens or no?
it's not just mutual fund, right? So it's most of the buy side funds. So for example, you bring on, say, any investment banker on the table, and they would be knowing at the end of the day यार BKC and lower parallel में ही लोग मिल जाते हैं, मतलब मोटा मोटा तो आपको चाहिए उतने. तो most of these guys, what they'll do is that okay, this is the company, you would know them very well. Let us have non-deal roadshow. Non-deal roadshow is basically you don't talk about price. You don't talk about what is your intended market cap, or what are you basically looking out for. You just talk about business, and the meeting generally goes on for probably 4 to 5 hours. And this is one-to-one meeting, right? So it's not sort of a group meeting with all the institutional investors. So multiple institutional investors comes on table and say that okay, I'm looking for this. If this comes on table, I would be okay bidding for this, or I'll be
Okay.
okay bidding for this book or this amount, right? And then it's sort of like market making hota hai, right? That they would be then there would be negotiation on the table. And as far as I know, generally this is how the things progress. And I have been part of this one, I think one time or two times, this non-deal roadshow. And per my experience, this was how the things basically progressed.
All right.
I think
Because
how much I have
I'm
also seen in my experience in corporate, it's usually the bankers are appointed because the kind of connections they have to build, the kind of anchor books and the kind of institution that they can attract. It's all a connections game. So that is why if you see the top two, three ECM bankers, which is equity capital market investment bankers, are like known specifically for these IPOs
Yep,
for higher
yep.
pricing and
so
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 like I
if you
have one
see,
thing.
right, so if you see, Danish bhai, जैसा आपने बोला, that is how the things will things go, right? So I think PhonePe, when they wanted to IPO, they were looking for close to, I think, 1.5 lakh crore of market cap, but none of the institutional investor, when they did non road shows or non deal road shows, they they had the same question as भाई पेटीएम 75,000 करोड़ पे है, 25,000 करोड़ का कैश है बैलेंस शीट पे, मैं तेरे को
yeah.
भेज पैसा 1.5 लाख. So this is how generally the negotiations go.
So, and how does it work? Let's assume a stock has listed a discount. So, who abuses whom in this entire cycle?
I've not been part of that particular transaction, because again, so that basically goes on
But
between the
how it should
company.
work? Like, company abuses bankers, funds also start abusing them. Like, what have you done? What have you sold? Or what's the who gets the blame basically for this thing? That's what I'm trying to say.
I am not sure as to who will get the blame, right? So blame is on actually nobody, because everybody is here making responsible decisions for their own money and has the experience to make the decisions, right? So it's not a blame game, but it certainly hampers the relationship and the kind of way you do look at a deal, right? So my experience at a buy side, it generally used to be like, you okay, love, this is the banker, okay, it's fine, it's okay to deal with the banker. And if the deal, or if the kind of businesses that generally comes up to a point where the you cannot touch the businesses, right? Then the banker के साथ relationship ही ऐसा हो जाता है कि यार उसके पास से deal है, ये मत लो, वैसा types. So it
Okay.
does not impact, or it is not sort of a blame game, because everybody is sort of understanding their responsibility, and has some sort of understanding as to why they are taking the decision. But it certainly hampers the future relationship, and hence the ECM guys do not price as aggressively as possible until and unless it's much required.
So how it
Okay.
actually, one element of it is the ECM, the guys, the investment bankers are actually paid based on the percentage of equity value that they can, get fetch for that company. So they have incentive to price it as high as possible, because their payout will be kind of, based on the equity value range of that company, of the
So
But
IPO.
what you are saying
but
is
that
when a
actually, yeah, yeah, yeah.
company get listed at discount, all the party members are like, okay, it happened, that's fine, but all of us made money, founders got exit, investment bankers got higher commission, because as you said. But yeah, on relationship level, it definitely hurt. And mutual fund guys
Yeah.
or those kind of people are anyways managing public money, they will be like, yeah, just a small loss on for us,
So
let's move.
actually, so if you see, right, so as far as I understand, all of the mutual fund guys that are taking the positions in the books, it would not be more than 2% of NAV, right? It,
Yeah,
it, it,
yeah.
it would probably it would be probably 1.5 or 2% of the NAV. And if the IPO is being priced aggressively, which is sort of the consensus assumption, I think that was consensus assumption in Lenskart as well. But Lenskart is on its way of doing close to 2,500 to 3,000 crores of EBITDA. This I think next year, or I have to check my model, but I think it shall be next year or next to next year. So it was not priced that aggressively. So again, it's sort of a numbers game. So probably you have Shadowfax in your books, which plays out close to 3x in 6 months of listing, and you have Lenskart, which plays out 60-70%, and you are okay taking loss of 20-30% probably on other positions that you have taken. So I think that shall be fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we will be taking questions, because we have ran out of question. I asked the most simplest question. That was my doubt. Uh,
I think I
yeah.
asked few
So
questions I got on my X. I think the Moat we covered for Pine Labs. I think that was 2-3 questions I got for.
yeah. So a request to viewers, like You can actually shoot your questions in comment box, and we will be taking it. And yeah, you were talking about Lenskart. I don't know about EBITDA and all, but Lenskart is 50% up. Like, it has made
And
money. It is
the
against
time it
that trend
listed,
of
everyone was
listing
abusing the
and
mutual fund guys.
Yep.
falling down. The trend is not the same with Lenskart.
I think it shall do close to 3,000 crores of EBITDA very soon. I think
Yeah.
it was priced at 6,000 crores of IPO. It was trading at 20 times EBITDA. So I'm not sure as to the aggressiveness of the assumptions that were actually baked in. But I think that played out well. And I think that is the numbers game, right? So, yeah.
I think the new age companies that have listed at discount have done much better. Shadowfax, then Lenskart, and these
Ather,
companies
even
like,
Ather was not a discount,
yeah,
but just
but yeah,
1% gain.
flat, like more like muted debuts on the market have done better. Like I think Eternal had debuted at what 100% premium or something. Same with
No,
Nykaa.
that wasn't the case, I think. But with MobiKwik, that was the case. Eternal was a huge size IPO, I think. But
Yep.
there were doubts whether it will be able to list at positive, but it definitely delivered more than
Yeah,
30%.
so Zomato listed at a premium of 51%.
51.
Yeah. And MobiKwik
But I
also
think
did.
Dipender has done a phenomenal work. Matlab, acquiring Blinkit when actually everybody was sort of abusing as to why are not profitable. Food delivery is going down the drain. You are burning money, and this guy comes and acquires Blinkit to the point where it is now on its way to do. If I'm not wrong with my numbers and my model, I think it shall do more than Demat. See the scale that they have achieved in probably 4 or 5 years. I think by 2029, I was reading Dipender's letter, and basis his calculations and basis his what size that he is looking at. I think it shall be more than Demat. The bottom line and the EBITDA, even bottom line of Blinkit itself, shall be more than Demat, and that actually shapes the conclusion as to how the new age businesses are reforming the traditional businesses to the point where there is this business which is running for 25, 30 years, and then this guy comes for I don't know 7, 8 years and reforms the whole industry to the point where same store sales growth of DMart slows down to 6, 7%. So yeah, interesting.
Fair enough. I think a
ये
lot of
नया
insights
idea
on
है.
this session.
Yeah.
Like I
Cool.
think this is a great topic on 80th Independence Day. Like this is the new India and new
This is
age
how
businesses.
new age business works.
Yes,
Right,
Yep.
right. I think we
hyper
have
growth.
covered. Yeah, I think we have covered all the questions from our side.
Yes.
Thank you very much for this entire session and going to such depth, because we are the kind of person who play IPOs just for listing in, honestly. And we know how Paytm works for that soundbox kind of thing, but what happens on the back end, that was nice to know.
Yeah, I think it
And
was
that
superb.
Pine Lab thing
Audience
was
finally understood.
again new for us. Uh,
Yep.
as we said, we just see this on, while paying challan or just in, by,
Right.
yeah, using swiping cards at those stores. It was nice having you, and we would like to have you on the show again whenever some new age IPO or
Sure.
those kind of things will be kicking in, so we can have
Perfect.
a better breakdown. Thank you very
Perfect.
much for joining us tonight.
Thank you
Thank you so
guys.
much,
Thank you
man. That
guys.
was super insightful.
Same here. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Thank
Good night.
you.
All right.
So
All
we
right.
finally learned about Pine Labs more than that white dabba that there is to play pay challans.
And the thing about Pine Labs is the name sounds so modern, seems like a new company to me. But
Yeah.
listed in, it was started in 1998. So interesting, good insights how things are working in the background for these companies.
Yeah, and Sumit understood bit of EBITDA and other stuff also today. Uh,
Yeah, more than that, I like to know about how things work. Like, I was very interested in what happens in the rooms when IPO get listed at discount, who is fighting with whom.
so now coming to another topic of Indians. I think it is one of the favorite part-time of corporate India, which is F&O trading, the great F&O story of India retail investors. It's like the growth story of India is actually in futures and options, where you can see what BSE and NSE are earning, and the brokers are earning because of this entire wave that is there. So, what has happened here exactly is Ministry of State of Finance published numbers where the headlines are saying F&O losses are down, but the number of traders of F&O are also down. So it's a very interesting, I think, note that was published by the Ministry of Finance, where retail F&O net losses fell to 90,000 crore in FY26 from 1,11,700 crore in FY25. So the government is saying that the STT, higher STT and margins have worked to reduce F&O losses. What are your thoughts on this, Sumit?
No, it's just I mean, again, just to explain this in very simple term, you can clearly see in FY 2022 we had 42 lakhs active traders in F&O. Then in FY25 we had 98 lakhs. Okay, more than double. And so many rules got changed. I think lot size got increased, margin got decreased, bunch of other things. A number of expiry got reduced. After doing all this, now we got a report that the collective loss of F&O retail traders has reduced from 1,11,000 crore to 91,000 crore. So basically, this report says that now retail traders are losing less money. But the important point here is retail traders are just not losing less money, they are losing more money. It's just number of retail traders have decreased from 98 lakhs to 78 lakhs. And now every trader is losing more money on average basis. So, and I think you cannot save people like this. You are actually hurting people by getting these regulation high charges on transaction. Even this year we were expecting certain relief, some new reforms around taxation, because FIs are selling and Indian markets are not liquid at all except these expiries and all. We saw no such improvement from government side on budget. In fact, we increased the STT on futures and option. So I don't know. I mean, you cannot. The thing here is very simple. I will give you one data here, and that is, yeah. So the irony of this entire thing is, market participant lost 91,000 crore, right? Government made 28,000 crore from them. Okay. And government used to make 6,000 crore from the retail traders. The number has gone up 4 times in last 4 odd years. I will tell you the biggest irony here. The job of the government is to regulate the markets. And at the moment, seems like it became a cash cow for the government, so that they can distribute it to women and bunch of other ladli behan scheme before election, free money, right? This money is going there, right? And third point here is very important. India's top 5 brokers made a net profit of 10,000 crore in last financial year, and you wouldn't believe it, because broker is doing all the headache, getting client on board, connecting with exchanges, getting price feed, buy sell orders, every single thing, maintaining books, how money flows, bunch of other things. Brokers made 10,000 crore in FY 2025 and government made 22,000 crore by the charges. Now I think this is just being greedy, honestly, because you cannot do this. Your STT collection is growing probably 4 times in last 4 years, and India's GDP or inflation wise, we must have grown by what on cumulative level? It's 25%, I think 30%. So that's not the way I believe to save anyone, because now you are hurting, right? It's like if you are scoring bad in school, in education, so I want to save you, so I will be hitting you, right, to give you punishment or those kind of things. Now, because I just smashed you with a stick or something, 30 students were there, 5 will just leave the school. Now 25 students will still be there. Number of failures will be lesser, obviously, because on absolute number, because 5 just left the school. And then you cannot say, look, number of failures have reduced. Well, that's not the point here. I mean, the thing is, with such punishment, you just caused fractures, and you just damage the bone of those guys. So that's not the way how you save people. That's more of a hurting people.
So to actually break down the hidden pointers behind this, the government was actually trying to prove that their steps were in a way correct and were effective of increasing STT and margins. But if you look at this closely, the total losses fell because approximately 20 lakh people left the F&O market, not because the existing F&O traders and survivors did better. And the average loss per trader actually has gone up from 1,14,000 to 1,17,000. So fewer people are now losing a bit more money. And that is actually what should be concerning to the general public and the government, because the average F&O loss now is almost half of India's per capita income. So this is taking away chunk of lot of people, and usually these are people who cannot afford these losses. Because when we hear stories online on Twitter, like I blew up my account, I had probably taken loans, and it's my life savings that I put to get rich, but it blew up. So the downside is very high. What is happening, and these kind of notifications actually are hiding the real truth behind it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and you are actually increasing the tax, which is actually hurting the people, because if you are not informed, so whenever you buy some futures and option or even equity, on that transaction value you pay STT, and you have to pay when you are buying these securities or derivatives. uh, it does not depend whether you make money or not. You will be paying that tax straight to the government, and now your trade is working. Let's assume you lose money, because people believe 93, I mean, there's a report, right? 93% of the people lose money. So if 93% of people are losing money, those guys are still paying taxes to the government. Like, how much sense it makes that a loss making business is paying tax to the government? Like, there is absolutely very little sense I can see, unless you are greedy, obviously. I
And
mean, that.
like we have this notion, right? The house always wins. Here, the house is the government and the brokers, because, like you mentioned, brokers have made over 10,000 crore, transaction charges have crossed 22,000 crore, and in the budget, again, STT on futures and options both were raised. So, here, the same phenomena is happening where the house always wins, and the normal people that are, the retail that is taking part in this boom of F&O is losing.
Yeah,
But
so
I had
I
actually
think,
one question for you.
yeah, yeah.
Like, where did these 20 lakh traders actually end up going? Do they do something else, or they forever quit the market? What do you think?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say increase in taxes. Look, these 93% of the traders, anyways, were not paying any attention to how much they are paying. It's a win or loss kind of thing for them. These guys got salary. They got 10,000 odd deposited in their Demat account. Let's play the expiry, and let's put money in some hero zero option or those kind of things. They don't really bother about it. But the fact is, there are some real players, in the game, who wants to play this game from domestic side, or you can say international money, who wants to do this thing, right? And you are just killing them. You are killing the people who have the ability to make markets liquid, who has the ability to make market more efficient. And this thing is just hurting. I mean, those guys will anyways lose money, those 93% kind of people. In fact, If you have just reduced STT, there could have been case they would have saved some money. And I can you wouldn't believe this. Like I told you, broker gave the entire thing, but look at the amount of money you pay. So just want to, yeah, I did a comparison with USA. So when you take a trade of 10 lakh, basically when your turnover is 10 lakhs in futures, so let's assume you are doing this on Nifty, you will be paying 612 rupees in charges in India. Now let's assume you are doing the same thing in USA over S&P 500. You will be paying 273 rupees. So that's the gap. Look at how big this gap is. And I haven't added the cost of slippage, which will obviously be high in Indian case because India is not that liquid market. So that's just not fair to the market participants who have joined in last 6 odd years. And you keep on saying, that's a growth story. We don't really need FIIs. We got, retail supports the market, got their money. It's just not about FDs. Retail are pushing their money into the markets, making supporting the markets, a bunch of other things. That's just dialogue, honestly. It doesn't reflect in the activity.
Yeah, but again, I think how much ever the government tries, the nature of the beast is such that it will keep on attracting people, because like we discussed, the rise of the cost of living and aspirations of new India is like through the roof, right? And how many people can buy even a 1 BHK nowadays in Bombay with their earnings? Like you said, approximately 100 years, I will take to buy a house in Bombay now. So how do
That's
I
for
make
the
it?
top 5% earners. That's just not
Yeah,
for average guy.
and like what are my odds of doing it? Very low, right, in this lifetime. So might as well I would take a gamble on probably expiry, have a hero zero bet, and probably try to become a hero one day.
Right. This honestly, this STT is a very criminal kind of thing. Just want to explain the history of this thing. STT stands for Security Transaction Tax, which was introduced in 2000 by P. Chidambaram. So idea was that we will be able to track all the transaction, right? And then we will not be charging those LTCG, capital gain tax. Like whatever profit you will be making, there will be no tax on that, but you should pay this small tax while making transaction. That was the case. Then in 2008, we got hike on short-term capital gain taxes from 10% to 15%. Now, if you think this is 5% hike, no, this is a 50% hike actually.
Yeah.
Now, again, people trusted government, right? We saw number of users going up, number of investors going up in Indian markets. In 2018, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley introduced capital gain tax again. You know what? Government promised investors in 2004 that just pay us little amount of STT and you don't really need to worry about capital gain tax. And now they are introducing capital gain tax again, and it was 10% on your profit. But irony was STT was still there. So it's a double taxation, right, for investors. Now people didn't even raise the voice against it because it was not a mainstream kind of thing. Now in 2024, while we were paying these double taxes, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman increased this 10% tax to 12.5% and the short-term capital gain tax from 15% to 20%. Now again, these are not 2.5% hike or 5% hike. It's 20% hike and 33% hike. And nobody was discussing about STT thing. So in last 22 years, it's like, again, then you talk about, trust us with various things. We saw this thing happening in sovereign gold bond also.
Yeah.
People were sold the dream that invest in these bonds, these are tax-free bonds and bunch of other things. Then suddenly a new notice came up that if you have bought it in a secondary market or not directly from the government, then it will not be considered tax-free or those kind of things. Then we saw, how it played out. People are not fooled, right? Like when redemption were going on, we reduced tax duty on gold, right, to just crash the gold in India, so government will be paying less. That's just fooling the investor. people are trusting you with money, right? And then you keep on breaking promises. And there is a theory in economics actually. There is a curve. I think it's Laffer curve or something. If you want to increase your tax collection, you don't do it by increasing your
Tax
taxes.
rate.
Yeah, because when you increase your tax rate, people like me will be thinking, why the hell I am paying high tax, right? I will think of ideas to save myself from paying taxes. I will be doing tax evasion, bunch of other things, right? So again, I am off the books from the government tax collection, you can say records, right? So I will not be contributing anything in tax collection. If you reduce it, right, then people will be happy. That कौन इतना दिमाग लगाएगा कि यार ये पैसा इकट्ठा करके इधर घुमाओ कि गवर्नमेंट से छुप जाए. अगर टैक्स रेट ही कम है, so I will be like, ठीक है यार, take it. I mean, same thing is playing out in toll taxes, right? We got that annual pass. Some for 3,000 odd rupees, I think we got 200 toll tax we can pay 200 times on the roads. Now people are like, fine, ठीक है, मतलब ठीक है, 3,000 दो, 15 रुपए का पड़ता है तो चलता है अपने को, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. वरना it was like there is new road, now we need to pay 80 rupees, so people used to find shortcuts how to skip this toll tax. I have done that. Like, people save such money. So but now mindset is very clear. Take my money. I have this recharge where I'm, getting 3,000. I have to pay 3,000 rupee, and I will be getting 200 free toll crossing basically.
But
So
that's
they
the
need to
thing,
have
right?
that angle.
The more you try to control something, ends up going out of control from the government side. Whenever they try controlling USD INR rate and via intervention, it probably goes out of control after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the entire concept of life, or you can say anything, is if you suppress something so badly, it has the ability to expand. I mean, we have seen this parenting also. People just do this thing. They don't allow their kids to play during exams. But the thing is, there could be effect that those kids will screw up their exams.
Yeah.
Because it's not natural for them to study 12 hours. There is a pressure which is coming from the parents, like you need to focus on studying, it's exam time, no need to play any game or those kind of things. And that's the worst case. That kid will not be able to take pressure and something bad will happen, obviously.
True.
So I need to think from first principle probably, rather than just looking at absolute numbers.
So we have always learned, right, in corporate, that if you get replaced one day, if you resign or don't take it too seriously, because you will be replaced by another guy by the next Monday. So something recently happened in India where one man said he's leaving after 18 months, and tens of thousands of crores of market value vanished in minutes. So what has been happening here?
Yeah, so just allow me a minute. Think. Yeah, so you were talking about replacement, and this is not some IPL team, this is not some football club. We are talking about replacement of chairman at Tata Sons, actually. So this news recently came up. So Tata Sons, I think, is the investment company which holds the Tata Group together. And they have one chairman, and they say all the other companies are obviously independent and all, but this is the kind of umbrella kind of structure they have. And they appoint one chairman, and that chairman, Chandrasekaran, will be resigning from his post after 10 years of his career, actually, at this post. So that's...
So to give some background, so N. Chandrasekaran told the Tata Sons board that he will not offer himself for reappointment when his term ends on 20th February 2027. And he asked the board to, settle the succession and get on with succession planning soon. And on this news, the Tata Group stocks fell. TCS fell almost 4%, and approximately 80,000 crore of market value was wiped out just on this one news. And that shows how important the market values the chairman of Tata Sons, which is N. Chandrasekaran.
Right. In fact, I have a theory that the right value of a 9 to 5 employee uh, is defined by what happens to the company when you resign. So
Yeah,
when chairman of Tata Sons resigned, Tata Group lost more than 80,000 crore in market capitalization. And we saw it happening in Google case also. So I think last
yeah,
week, Google DeepMind CEO, has left the CEO designation actually. Like he will be joining as a chairman or something. He has left his role as a CEO. Google stock was down 5%, and so they lost billions. Like that's how you define the value of a 9 to 5 employee. If company is not getting hurted by a resignation mail or struggling, then you are just another person. But if in this case you saw losses in market cap, and this shows the value of the person. And I think last month we also saw one different case where a CEO resigned and the stock went up 40%. So what does it prove?
yeah. I think it was Just Dial, right? Where we had seen the CEO resign and the stock was up
What does it prove?
40%. So I
Like
will give you some insights. Like, it's like that manager, right, in your team where, you are getting micromanaged by this manager. He's like, very annoying member of your team. And, suddenly he's on a long leave, not a resignation type, or he shifted to another client. Suddenly the team is filled with life, because it's like a burden has gone away and they perform at the optimum level that they need to. So sometimes what happens is that person may have such a negative impact, maybe not in any bad sense, or but just it may not be working according to him, that the team or the surroundings end up thriving. Or the other side is the person that is there, the manager, has such a positive impact around the company and the influence that the entire company is rising because of him and probably outperforming their entire capacity.
It's
So to,
just that thing, as you said, like how you can say it's like the presence of a strong player on the ground. That's what matters actually at times. It's not about how he performed. Sometimes his presence itself put pressure on the competitors, right? And it doesn't define, honestly, it doesn't define that a person is good or bad. It's just that's the
exactly.
impact he's able to create at that moment. You have seen Chennai Super King just plays with 10 players, honestly. They got MS Dhoni just for presence. That's it. And they have managed, they are struggling these days, but they have done this. I think they won the one title doing all this. So
Right. And even something happened recently in the World Cup where in Brazil's team, Neymar is, said to be past his prime. But the manager and them, they decided that we will take Neymar just for his presence because it's the championship mentality that he carries. And, it's like the aura that he has. The rub-off effect on players because of that mentality is like you cannot assign a value to that. But
right,
in
right.
case of Tata Sons, we have few numbers actually where we can probably put numbers to the great legacy that Chandrasekaran is leaving behind. So it's like a scorecard in a way for his performance. Like, a corporate employee gets a yearly appraisal and, feedback. This is his, uh, his entire scorecard from 2017, I think. So where I divide it into three segments where I call it the monsters that have done really well under Chandrasekaran are Tata Investment, which is up almost 1300%. Nelco is up 1200%. Titan and Trent are up more than 1000%. So four names are up more than 10x. So that is super wealth creation that has taken place. And surprisingly, other than Titan, the biggest winners aren't the businesses Tata is actually famous for. Trent and Titan, the consumers play, are then also known, but Tata Investment and Nelco, which have done 10x, are usually not what Tata is known for. Whereas the laggards, which are the public favorite, is Tata Motors and TCS. They have underperformed drastically. Like they are up only around 80% in case of Tata Motors and TCS 140%. So the legacy giants like TCS and Tata Motors have done poorly in terms of stock performance. So his decade in a way is really about the new economy pivot that they have done in Tata, and as well as the consumer play that we discussed earlier also that has been playing out. Then in the middle we have the normal Tata consumers, Indian hotels that have done upwards of 400% with Tata Steel, Tata Power, Tata Elxsi. So yeah, like a 400% average is superb, right, in your tenure.
Right. And the thing is, Tata is just not about one sector. They command so many sectors, right? So you can literally say like they are covering almost every sector. I think beyond pharmacy probably. What else is missed? I think they are covering IT, they are covering metals, consumers via Tata, this company Tata Consumer Products. They got hotels, Indian hotels, another IT company Tata Elxsi actually. Then this Zudio Wave via Trent, right? Titan, jewelry, gold business, AC, Voltas, Tata Chemicals, automobile, Tata Motors. How can we forget that? And the boring big business, Tata Steel. So that's almost everywhere, right? And it's like variety of players in your team, and you are able to extract good value out of them. That's insane. That's just not a cricket team. It seems like these guys got
The entire league.
entire league of multiple players. These guys are competing in multiple competition, you can say. There are Australians, some people who play cricket also, and some people who play, I mean, a single player is able to represent Australia in cricket and football and those kind of things. Tata seems like a company which got team for every event, whether it's a cricket competition, football, and these guys are able to do fantastically. And these guys got great legacy actually. I mean, this is a history of chairmen of the Tata Sons. So you can see some great name you must be aware of, like GRD, Tata, Ratan Tata, right? So, and N. Chandrasekaran was the first non-family guy, I think, to be to be the chairman of Tata Sons, actually.
Yes, he was the first professional outsider chairman of Tata Group, and he actually came after a kind of tough period for Tata in corporate governance issues. Like they were facing corporate governance issues, and there were conflicts that were happening. And like you can see, his defining moves was getting Air India back home to Tata Electronics, and the semiconductor bets and the capex that they are doing for playing the new economy phase of India.
Yeah, but look at even the resume of N. Chandrasekaran is fantastic. Like he comes from Tamil Nadu. He joined TCS in 1987 when joining TCS was not cool. Okay, he became CEO of TCS in 2009, and he joined Tata Sons board in 2016, and then he became chairman of 2017. Then he became chairman of Tata Sons in 2017, and they have 5-year term actually. So he served 2 5-year terms. So that's how he will be exiting Tata Sons as a chairman in 2027. So that's the entire play. Fantastic resume, I would say.
Yeah.
And look at
all good things come to an end, and it's actually leaving a lot of questions that now, is that Tata a group that depends on one man, or is
right.
the institution enough to run on someone else?
Most of the Tata Sons chairmen have that characteristic in their genes to just not work on one business.
Yeah.
The expansion kind of thing in a new sector. Like you see in 1917, Sir Dorabji Tata started this Tata Steel in Jamshedpur. Then we saw oil mills; those things were going on. Then he was replaced with Sir Novroji, I think. Yeah, he expanded the group. He brought this aviation into the picture, got cement into the picture. Then we saw the rise of JRD Tata, like 53 years of being Tata Sons chairman. We saw growth of Air India. Then we saw how he actually backed the scientific research program in India. We saw
Yeah.
this TIFR, right? And TCS and Titan. We recently saw a web series around Titan, by the way. You can clearly see how he backed a young guy to build fantastic watch in India, right? And then we saw the rise of famous Ratan Tata. We saw that Nano, actually, the dream of having car in giving car, or you can say providing car to every family. He acquired multiple international car companies, Jaguar, Land Rover, and all. So bunch of other things, and that's a legacy Tata Sons chairman actually had in their career. So let's see what comes from here on, because at the moment TCS is facing a lot of heat for not investing in AI and those kind of things, which you would expect from TCS, considering the characteristics Tata Sons have shown in the past, but not right. It is not happening right now.
Yeah, I think ups and downs are part of the game. So yeah, I think that was another good story to cover on Independence Day, where India's like Tata is India, right? It's heart of India. Be it cars, be it Air India, it's always known to have that, always instills a feeling of nationalism. Like people say, we want to buy Tata Motors because the cars are made in India. We are contributing
Yeah,
to a nation. Flying Air India because of the same reason, even though the service or quality of both are not world standard in a way, but we always give it a preference and have that thing in the back of our mind as an Indian.
yeah, it is one of the trusted brand in India for sure. Like,
And and I
because
think,
the coverage is insane. If you see, Tata touches every kitchen in India with Tata Salt. And then, you know what? I think Air India is the only airline probably in India which is able to offer this business class, or those kind of experiences.
premium experience.
Yeah, so it is touching from offering Tata Salt to the poorest person in India, and then giving this experience to the probably richest people. So because we don't have any luxury kind of airline in India, it's just Indigo and Air India, right? Indigo is solely on economy flights, economy, cabins and all. But Air India is the one who takes care of international routes and all, because Indigo is just expanding at the moment. So
And
insane
it
legacy.
was at one time, see, aviation has been tough, but at one time it was the marquee airline in the world, Air India, when we had there JRD Tata had started it, and the queen of the skies, like this is 747. Air India was a flagship carrier where people used to pay a lot of money to just have a flight in the 747 of Air India. It was like a most premium experience that was there.
Yeah. It was those. I think they have a mascot, Maharaja or something.
Yeah,
That red
Maharaja.
color, So those were the days.
Yeah,
Okay,
and like
let's.
even Harshad Mehta series had that कि कौन सा शेयर लेना चाहिए टाटा को कोई भी उठा दो it's going to be चल जाएगा. So yeah, that's the kind of trust they have built over so many years in India, and that's commendable.
And let's hope this group carries the legacy forward from here on, because there is a saying, I think, that by third or fourth generation, uh, business usually lose their track.
Yeah.
First generation builds it, second generation expand it, third generation or fourth generation just waste their time in flaunting it, and
Yeah.
business goes off the track. But insane what Tata has done for more than 100 odd years now.
Yeah. So we can go to my favorite section, which is the clown move. So something crazy actually happened last week. India's newest unicorn doesn't sell semiconductors, cars, or software. It sells you or tells you what the stars have planned.
Mhm.
And it just crossed $1 billion valuation due to an ESOP buyback. And the company is none other than AstroTalk. So, as you can see, AstroTalk, a Noida based astrology platform, has entered the unicorn club at a $1 billion valuation. So, this company was founded by Puneet Gupta, like you can see in the photo, in just 2017. And they are the eighth unicorn of India in 2026. And unlike most, it is a super profitable and generating superb cash flows and one of the most unique businesses that is there in India of astrology. So, to give you some context, I call it the poly market of India. AstroTalk is the poly market of India, except that the platform is also theirs. They only make the predictions and they only make the money. So, it's something very unique.
And funny part is this company usually operates via app. It's not that random baba you visit in village कि इंडिया के गांव में एक बच्चे को डेंगू हो जाएगा एंड people will be so much into this thing कि हॉस्पिटल नहीं लेके जाएंगे, we will get this to some baba and he will say कि 2 दिन व्रत रख लो एंड ये पेड़ से एक फूल लेके आओ और ये वहां रख देना रोड पे एंड you will be fine, right? That's a rural India. I don't know, I mean, how urban India is able to pay for such vague advice just because it's on the app. It's the same thing. Like,
True.
I just
So,
don't get it. Like that.
So
How?
this is what Sumit has been saying. Actually, we have a visual representation of it. That contrary to normal assumption that AstroTalk works in the smaller towns, but actually most customers of AstroTalk are reportedly from tier 1 and metro cities, aged 18 to 35, and around 60% of it is through these consultation related to marriage. So it's the young urban and the so-called educated India that is their target audience. And you won't believe the numbers. In FY25 they made 1176 crore with a net profit of 250 crore, a net profit of 250 crore, which was almost 2.5x of what they made in FY24. And currently they are estimated to cross 2500 crores. That is the craze that is there behind AstroTalk currently.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, my take on astrology is very simple. Astrology is just a toll tax on people uh, having money in their pockets, and society assume these guys are high IQ, but they are not. Honestly, that's my take. Like, how are you able to see this thing? Like, if I'm going through a breakup and I want to be sure whether I should leave her or no, why the hell I will be checking position of Mars to confirm this? Whether this girl is right for me or no. That's insane. Like, you really need to think about it. How the hell Saturn or these planets will be deciding whether your girlfriend you should marry her or no? That's just insane. I mean,
So to give some context to the size of AstroTalk currently, it is at 8700 crore valuation, which is a 43.5x jump in just 9 years. So if you can see, it is larger than these companies in India, like which have become very popular, right? Of Hawkins that sells real cookers, Raymond and Safari that sell directly to consumer, Idea Forge that sells drones. But you can see clearly that a company telling you that Saturn is in your current some in your line or it's going through bad times is worth more than these. But again, like you're saying, I think I understand why it is popular in India, because I have seen like my friends and people turn towards all this astrology when things are not going well in life. Like it happens many times that when you try to do everything, you give it your best, and things still don't work out, and you just want that some kind of hope that something good happens in life. You want that promise, and that is what these astrology and other things give you. Not necessarily any answer type, but just that hope or a promise that a feeling that it may just get better now, and it's a phase, it'll just pass. So that's why I think it works in India.
I don't know. I mean, it's just lack of self-belief. People just don't trust their decisions. So they will be asking some random person who will be doing some, mala and all, like whether I should make this. And I can assure you, I can tell you one experiment very simple. I can be expert in this thing. You just need to send the details of 10 friend of yours with me, and I will be able to convert them into my clients. It's not too hard. You just need to wear some good clothes, and you just need to look like you know something which they don't. And then just you need to talk about things which are very common. Like I will be asking, okay, so I think your job is not working fine. Out of 10, 8 people will be like, yeah, you are right. And then I will be like, yeah, I think I know why Shania left you. So then 4 will be like, yeah, you are right. And how do you know she left me? And then I will be like, I also know you are doubtful about marrying her. And 2 people will be like, yeah, you are absolutely right. I'm struggling in my job. My girlfriend left me, and the other girl I'm seeing, I'm very much doubtful whether I should marry her or no. These 2 people are my client. That's the entire business of astrology. I just need to sell it in a package of, Mars is here, so we will be doing this thing. You need to. That's a crap, I think.
There's actually a study behind it. It's called the Barnum effect. Like this entire astrology and thing is based on this thing called Barnum effect, where the statements are so vague that anyone that reads it will feel that it's about them.
That's what I'm saying. You just need to have a profile. Like I will give you one example. Okay, in my village, okay, most of the marriages are arranged marriages. All right. So a woman of my grandmother age, so she went to an astrologer. Okay, and she paid him whatever money and all. And the output of that entire meeting was very simple: that her daughter will be getting married in this district only. And she paid money for this, and I was like, that's fine. Like I could have told you this thing for free. And then she was like, no, but you don't know, it's about these Mars and ye sab se hota hai, aise nahi hota hai. Then I just analyzed, if I pitch the same advice to 10 women of that village, in arranged marriages, most of the marriages happens in district only. It's not 2 states kind of marriages you see in arranged marriages, especially in rural area. So 8 marriages will always be in that district only. Like, what's the big deal here? So I just don't get it. Why people it's just probability. I think, again, if you are good at probability statistics, you don't really need to worry about this thing. You just study that.
So, I think one key takeaway for me, especially in this case, is that hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
So the key takeaway for me in the case of AstroTalk and other thing is that the $1 billion opportunities in India lie in tapping into human emotions of lust, fear, hope, and AstroTalk is the best example of a hope business in India. And you see, right, it is beautifully designed as well. Recurring anxiety and depression and other things and hope, you have recurring revenue. And now with AI chats and technology, almost zero cost to deliver any of it, and no inventory, nothing, just pure profit, right?
ChatGPT can do a far better job, honestly.
Yeah. And I think someone had quoted, right, astrology is the escape for what a weak mind is, right? So
I
it
just
helps
don't
people
get.
cope.
I just don't get one thing. I don't want to name the firm, but one firm got market regulator license. So yeah, just want to tell you, there is a firm in India which got license from market regulator to give advice, okay, to the clients around the stocks and all. And the core thesis of that firm is just astrology. So the entire thesis of the firm is they will be telling you when to buy or when to sell Nifty, Reliance, TCS, and all based on how Mars is doing today. How Mercury is placed, in solar system, and these guys got license, right? Don't know. I mean,
And
that's one of
this has been actually very sensitive topic. Like, I think people will be watching. Many of them will be heard. How can they say this about? It's a science. It's that. But yeah, I think there's a comment that Danish, add an extra A in your name, and you will see exponential growth in subscribers from AstroTalk. But I
makes
mean,
sense.
why would you want to change something that your parents gave you, like when you were
No,
born?
but some people will definitely take it if you are able to pitch it in a nice manner. They will. But I have a
Yeah.
question. How can you use astrology in your life to save or make money?
See, it is simple. Why aren't the astrologers the richest people in the world if they knew so much? They should take loan, bet their house on the next stock or everything if they know, this day Nifty is going to go up 1%. But go fully leveraged on, call options of Nifty, or, just buy the index futures or something, right? Why don't they do that?
So, look, I just know one way. When you will be getting married, all right, you will be booking some places or something. Those places have huge demand on certain dates, which are based on astrology. The
Yeah.
same venue, you will be able to book a discount on some dates which are rejected by astrology. And a date is just a date, right? You will be able to save probably 40% of your wedding cost if you just get married on the day which gets rejected by all astrologers. But the thing in India is, you see those world records or Indian records of 1 lakh wedding in Delhi NCR on the same day. It's just from due to this astrology actually. Astrologers
Yeah.
tell people this is the date you should get married, and this is lucky as per I have seen your genes on Mercury. That thing is doing fine. So this is the date we will be opting for.
Yeah.
And so
I think it's
same place
crazy.
goes for the 50% premium. So I have given you a hack for everyone. If you want to save money, this is the way to go.
I mean, if all the weddings are happening on, these auspicious days, why are the number of divorces so high in India then? No one should be, breaking up or
No, but then we have advisory for this thing also, right? Just married
solve those
someone and now,
issues.
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy. India is a funny country, I feel. And hope, I think, is a great business because fear mongering and, they'll tell you, "अभी next time अगर ने ये नहीं किया तो आपके साथ ये हो जाएगा." I mean, but I think such a crazy story it has been that it's a unicorn now because it's asset light, new age business of India. This is new India,
this
digitalized
is
Baba.
just this is just old theory which is being packed in a yellow colored app on your mobile phone, which tells you your life will be good if you just do fast on some weekday, if you get this flower of jasmine, and then find it somewhere, put it on the road, have chilies, lemons on your doors. Like, just leave it. I mean, we are in 2026, we are celebrating 80th Independence Day, and we are still doing this chilies and lemon kind of thing. And then we are talking about why India is not growing and all. We need to look at ourselves, what we are doing first of all.
Yeah. So I think now coming to our final section, uh, it's one of the most unique things I've actually ever read about. And so this phenomena is actually taking place in Italy, where we'll be discussing that. You can read here, right? Italy's cheese banks are being threatened by intense heat. So something crazy is happening. That, to give you some background, a bank in Italy is backed by Parmesan cheese and is lending people money for cheese. So in northern Italy, there's this a place called, I cannot recollect the name, but I think in northern Italy, it's a company called Credito Emiliano, which treats cheese like gold. And that bank, instead of holding gold, it holds around 4 lakh wheels of Parmesan cheese, which is worth more than $200 million. So what actually happens here is the real Parmesan cheese that we eat, that we buy, takes 2-3 years to get ready. And this leaves farmers with almost millions of dollars in Italy, where they sit on these products and they can't sell it for 2-3 years. But you need to pay for your equipment, for the cows that produce milk, which is used in cheese, your workers. So these young cheese is actually given as security for the loan, and farmers get cash at around 80% of the value upfront. So it provides working capital to the farmers and they can use it. And this cheese is the collateral like gold. And while the loan is there, the cheese is actually in high tech vaults where the banks have assigned experts to look after the cheese. And in case the farmer cannot pay after 2-3 years, bank just sells the cheese at a profit. It's the most crazy thing I've read in the last few weeks.
Yeah, that's a different form of collateral, like, but it solves their problem. I mean, farmers are getting their money, which they would have been getting in 3 years. But seems like at the moment, like bank is just a factory of, storage company, warehouse kind of thing, cold storage kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
So
just they are running the one more business on top of it.
so this place that I was talking about, which is Credito Emiliano, actually just focuses on this. They have no gold. They just focus on maintaining the cheese. And it actually makes sense. I will tell you why. Because you must have seen, right? Most collateral that we give in banks when we go, like cars or any kind of inventory or machine, depreciates. But Parmesan cheese actually appreciates in value every month that it ages. So the bank's downside actually decreases with time. That is why farmers get very low interest rate and a very good value on the cheese. And the banks are not experts in lockers and all. They are a cheese expert. They built these vaults where there's climate control, grading, and machines, and how to maintain the cheese at the optimum level. So yeah, it's something very unique.
That's what I'm saying. Banks are just a warehouse or a cheese storage company in that case. But that's a collateral, you can say here. Weird collateral, weird banking could be funny. I mean, I can recall one case, honestly. It's just not from the bank point of view, it's from the insurance point of view. So if you think assets are like stocks, and gold, land, or those kind of things, I think this was a story from 2008 or something. For a person who is selling milk, so for those people, their buffalo cows are assets.
Yeah.
Now, due to whatever illness, if animals get killed, they lose their income. So I think some bank did it. I think ICICI Bank did it. They started offering insurance, animal insurance, to these people, to the farmers, to milk sellers, and all. That if your animal dies, these guys will be, just like any person dies, you get money from the insurance company. You will also be getting it in the case of animal death. Now the problem here is people started killing their animals and chopped off their ear and submitted as a proof. In fact, the root problem was actually when this scheme was going on. So you need a proof of death, right? So bank
Yeah.
also told them, like, if you get the ear of that animal, we will consider it as dead. And there was some number on that ear. They started
Crazy.
chopping ears of that live animal to get that's when bank just closed the scheme or something. So weird thing happens in banking and finance industry. That was this insurance thing, and here cheese is being accepted as collateral.
I mean, we can see, right, in the thing that there risk of being ruined. So you must have seen videos, right? In France, people were taking AC and trying. All of them were sold out because extreme heat has actually put a lot of strain on the system, and daily power consumption is through the roof in Europe. So they were not used to keeping that kind of air conditioning systems and that. So there was a lot of shortage, and because of that, there's been a lot of impact on the basic raw material, right, which is milk, because cows are facing the heat. They have to ensure that they are in right conditions, because the health of the cows also affects the kind of quality of cheese. And we all know, right, Italians, Europeans love the cheese and the food. and this has to be top-notch quality. So yeah, the climate change effect is real, not just because of pollution and all, but a very unique case where the climate is affecting cows, which is indirectly affecting cheese, which is affecting banks.
But if the structure is working for them, brilliant. But the equation is just being hampered or tampered by this temperature thing, right? So let's see how do they just manage this, because it will increase the cost for both parties probably. So the maths was working fine as of now. In fact, let's hope that keeps on working fine for them. I mean, finance could be funny. I mean, let's assume we are in a jungle in Africa, right? They have tribes and all. So their assets will not be some Apple shares or Google shares. It will be their weapons, it will be their rocks, maybe those kind of things. So,
but yeah, something very unique, right? Like imagine you go to ICICI Bank, you go to the locker space and you see cheese instead of gold and all. Like who would have ever thought that cheese would be?
The good thing about derivatives in finance is just not those derivatives you see in the markets. We also see a derivative version of finance, core finance, So this cheese is one version. If you are opening a bank and offering services to the tribes in Africa, you should offer services for their weapons, for their stones, and bunch of other things. So finance got multiple. Like I know one thing in Haryana. So you can lend your money at 2% interest rate. You will be
Per
getting
month?
2% per month. You will be getting 2% interest per month. All right, and you don't need any collateral or those kind of things. And people will be funding you. People will be ready to pay you this money. And I had this doubt, like how the hell people are able to loan 2 lakh to some other person in the village without any collateral or those kind of things. So then I asked this to my grandfather, and he told me the collateral here is the respect in the village. Like that, we know he will never default because it will ruin his name in the entire village. Because if he will be defaulting this, we will be taking this to the panchayat and all. So it will ruin his name in front of the entire village. And in village, it's your name which works. So because you are not moving, you are not switching jobs, and those kind of things does not happen there. If you have to live in village for 50 odd years, obviously your name should not be ruined, right? So that's a collateral. So collateral can have various version actually.
Like my inspiration Harshad Matta always used to say, सबसे महंगी चीज इंडिया में क्या है? The most expensive thing in India is nothing but trust.
Right.
And it is the most invaluable thing. I think no money can buy trust, right? If there is trust, Indians are like, they have blind faith. They're ready to pay premium blind faith. And the richest, in fact, have everything. And the biggest thing that they actually lack is trust, right? And if you get their trust, it is like you cannot assign a value to that. There's no quantitative value to it.
Like that's the point. When if I'm visiting Starbucks and the same coffee is available at 20 rupees, at 30 rupees, anywhere, or that's the cost which I will be paying if I'm making the same coffee. I'm visiting Starbucks because I trust them. These guys will be giving me a space where I can interact with another person in air-conditioned room, and the coffee will be, taste is different thing. Yeah, taste is a very specific kind of a thing. But these are the things where I have trust on Starbucks, that I don't really need to worry about, temperature. I don't really need to worry about, you can say, crowded behavior or those kind of things. I trust Starbucks. That's it. That's why I'm paying that premium. And that's the reason. The dating culture in India is only reason these cafes are working honestly. Right? And what cafes are selling you? Cafes are actually selling you trust, that you can trust us. You just come up. It's your private drawing room kind of a space. You just meet people here, right? And just pay us a premium on the bill, obviously. But we will ensure you are protected by those, 120 crore Indians who may not have civic sense. Those guys will not be entering here because we have this price barrier to maintain this trust So trust is obviously a currency in India, and people are ready to pay premium for this. All right, I think we are done with the stories for the
Yeah,
day.
I think this week was amazing stories,
And
and we hope
and
Pine Labs recovers their 50% drawdown soon.
yeah, I think our viewers number is just 180 because there was a glitch on X,
Yeah,
and it is all-time low number, but that's fine. But we
but I
want to
think
thank
YouTube is
everyone who
booming
joined
today.
actually. 180 viewers. Thank you very much for joining tonight for the show.
And
Uh,
sorry for
and
the, I think there's some tech issue on X today, so the broadcast is not showing.
I think broadcast is being shown, but it is shown in the form of a link, which is not very interactive for the users. It is not being shown that a
Yeah,
live video is playing. So that is the reason. But that's fine. I mean, thank you very much to all of you. 184 people joined on Saturday night. That made our night, honestly. And for a few minutes, we will be taking your feedbacks, questions on any story, anything you feel this thing could be improved, or anything from your end. We are ready to take it on. This is a nice comment actually from Raj Shikhar. AstroTalk should come up with a specialized subscription where they will help us in getting allotment in IPO. Yeah, this is a big market. Like why astrologers are not opening this side where they can offer their service to get allotment of IPO to the investors. This could be a big thing.
I think this will be a great tweet the day it comes with the IPO.
All right, we are still waiting for your feedback, and our socials are growing pretty well. I think we crossed 1,300 followers on Instagram, 800 on
1400,
X,
almost
1,400 now.
1400.
Yeah, so thank you very much for supporting across the channels. We got a comment. MBA/VC show I just watched. It was the best show on both topics I have ever seen. Thank you very much, Anil. Great that you liked
Thank
it,
you.
and it was definitely a great one from Aryan. We got a lot of insights.
Yeah, and his clips have actually been doing really well. People are really interacting on the
Yeah,
insights he said.
there were some insights which people assume like MBA is just a degree to get married in India, and like bottom tier MBAs are for marriage resume, and top tier MBAs are for getting high paid job. But there were some hidden things which she covered, like which we usually miss around both ecosystems, VC and MBA. Cool. Let's take 30 more seconds for the questions and the feedback. We enjoyed today's session for sure. It was pretty diverse.
Yeah, I didn't feel like we spoke for 3 hours today. Yeah, I think because of the X issue, X audience can see the clips that we will be publishing. I
Yeah.
think Smith has been putting a lot of volume on X. So yeah, we crossed 800 followers on X as well. Nice.
All right. I think
We
yeah, we
can.
should wrap it up and assume people like the show. And let's hope there will be no glitch next time, and we will be having more viewers from the X also. But anyways, thank you very much. 184 of
Thank you
you
guys.
just made our night, and thank you for joining us. We will see you next weekend on the same channels you are viewing this. Till then, have a good Sunday and have a good week.
See you guys.